Hello and welcome to episode 45 of Some Like It Real. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Veronica.
And we're two cinephiles who love to talk movies.
We have weekly episodes discussing the newest films, creating lists and drafts, and keeping you updated on the latest movie headlines and awards races.
As a reminder, please like, rate, and subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms, which helps more people find the show.
And share it with any cinephiles in your life.
Here we are, bringing you another auction draft, and maybe our biggest to date question mark. It's all about the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes, this is poised to be one of the biggest drafts yet, and we thought with the release of Spider-Man Brand New Day, it's finally time to bring the inevitable MCU auction draft.
And what better way to draft than by bringing on two of the biggest MCU fans out there, as well as two first-time guests. First up, Sasha Raquel.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here.
And Steven Eastland.
What's up, guys? Bryan, I am so stoked to be here. Guys, this is going to be so much fun.
Nice. We are so excited to have you both on. I've been told you are giant MCU fans. So thanks so much for joining us. But before we get started, Bryan, would you like to explain the rules to our listeners?
Absolutely. So we will each have $1,000 to spend on putting together a team of 4 films, totaling 16 movies in all. We will be drafting in a traditional snake style, and if you fill up your team, you are forbidden from nominating any more films, even if it might be your turn to do so. Now, an important thing to keep in mind, other than this being an auction draft, is that just because you pick a movie doesn't necessarily mean you get it. You get to nominate that film for the bidding.
We have a whopping 37 films to choose from over an 18-year period. We're not including TV shows or TV specials, so sorry to fans of Secret Invasion, if any of you exist out there. Just theatrically released installments of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And depending on how this goes, hopefully we could all still love each other 3,000. With that, it is time to pick the draft order. I have our names on a wheel. Thank you so much, wheelofnames.com, for not sponsoring this podcast. We very much appreciate you letting us use your wheels to put our names on them. So I'm going to spin the wheel. There's nothing special about this at all. I have them in the order of Bryan, Veronica, Sasha, and Steven. So without further ado, here we go. It's time to spin.
You're trying to increase your transparency of your process after the rigged allegations.
So first up, oh my God.
Steven.
Oh, big pressure to start off first. Oh my goodness. Next up will be
Looks like Bryan.
okay.
There we go.
Sasha and Raquel. Sasha and Veronica. Oh my God.
It's me and me. I have 2 teams, guys. Veronica is not participating.
Oh my God. It's so
Oh my
close.
God, it was very close. It was me
That
by
might be
a
the
hair.
closest it's ever been, ever.
That was crazy.
That's because we're one person.
was right on the line.
Sasha and Raquel.
We are.
So the order is as follows: Steven, me, Veronica, and Sasha. So before we get into partaking in this massively gigantic draft, let's go around and talk a little bit about what the MCU means to us. So Sasha, let's start with you. Where is your stance on the MCU? Obviously, as alluded, you're a pretty big fan of this franchise, but kind of elaborate a little bit more of why it means so much to you.
Oh my gosh. Every time I get asked this question, I never know how to answer it. I feel like in very early middle school or late elementary school was when I first saw a couple of MCU movies. Amazing Spider-Man was coming out around the same time. I wasn't an OG. I was only 8 years old when Iron Man came out. So I wasn't seeing that in the theater. But by the time the first Avengers came out, that movie feels very transformative in my life. And the MCU to me has always just been a collection of stories about people with supernatural abilities dealing with very human issues on a large scale. And that's always what I've loved so much about the MCU is the characters feel like people who are funny and tragic and superpowered all at the same time. And there has genuinely never been a point where I haven't been a Marvel fan since the beginning. I know there's been a large dip for a lot of people after Endgame, but for me it's just kind of been okay, I like something about this and I didn't, and there's ups and downs, but I just generally love all of these characters in this world so much that I couldn't never see myself truly stepping away from it.
Steven, gonna pose the same question to you. What's your history with the MCU, and why have you remained such a fan of this franchise, even through its bumps? What makes you such a fan of this franchise?
Oh, oh man, Sasha, I agree so much with everything you just said. I resonate with it. I think at this point it's nostalgic. Like you could put on any. I have the list up in front of me of just like all the movies. You could put on any one of these and probably take a really good nap, or get some like homework done, or for some reason it being on is like motivating. It's almost like uh, body doubling with these movies sometimes because they can be so action packed or they can be so whatever, but we know them and we know the stories and we know the things they went through. We know that they overcame things. One of the things I really like in just media in general is just like a relentless best friend, one that somebody says like, no, don't follow me into the pit, and they're like, no, I'm gonna follow you anyway, like a Samwise Gamgee type of thing, you know. And that is, if you look for that, there's quite a number of those in the MCU as well that I really like to point out too. So I think that it's for the most part really well done when it comes to storytelling. I think that they're all pretty much knockouts of like the movies of their times. They're just a great time on it. Like most of them are great, and even the ones that aren't so great, man, they're still fun. Unless you're a stick in the mud, but they're still just fun, dude. You know?
Veronica, you've gone on record throughout this podcast, the history of this pod being alive, that you're not a humongous MCU fan. You've talked about being much more embracing towards it early on, but the last few years you kind of distanced yourself a little bit from these films. So, kind of elaborate a little bit more of your stance on the MCU and what it means to you.
Yeah, I think that I got into it. I was definitely into it, early on in the beginning. I feel like throughout the, mid to late 2010s, I was just as a movie fan, I was really blown away by the whole project of the MCU. And, we talked about this recently with like something like, Infinity War and Endgame, and like those were such culminations of like a decades long project that was really successful. That was, produced a lot of incredible movies, introduced characters, and brought them all together in this gigantic story that could have completely crashed and burned, but it didn't, and it was such a wild success. And yes, I have since then I'm kind of on board with a lot of people who feel that the quality's gone down, everything's a little bit overexposed. There's a bit too much of this in our lives. The superhero fatigue is often talked about, and but I'm my heart is open. I've not caught up on every single one since that sort of dip, but when I hear something's good, if it's a character I care about, or an actor that I like, or something about it seems a little different or a little more innovative or something, like I'm happy to check it out, and I'm always wishing for the best. I'm not a hater by any means, but I'm not like on board no matter what anything Marvel puts out. So, yeah, I think it's a mixed bag. I think that it's, we're going to be talking about a lot of movies this draft, but there's also there are so many that half of them are going to go undrafted. So, like, I kind of think we have a chance to talk about, the best of the best. So I don't think we're going to be wanting for any good discussion or talking about good movies, because I think there are plenty here to really dig into. So I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, I remember, when the MCU started, it was such a big deal. I remember my parents taking me to the theater when I was 10 years old. Oh my God. I was 10 years old when this thing started. So this thing has been around for a majority of my entire life, which is crazy. And, when it began, this was a humongous deal. And we were at the point where we were getting a plethora of superhero movies, not to the extent that we've gotten them over the last few years, certainly. But even with the bumps that this franchise has faced throughout the years, I still do get interested in whatever they put out. I love a lot of the actors that they bring to these projects, some of the filmmakers that they attach to bring these stories to life. And it is really incredible to see how this franchise has blossomed into one of the big money-making machines. And I know that for some people, that's kind of a curse, because these movies tend to take over movie theaters and everything, and take away much smaller titles from being seen from the public eye. But I still think that it is really exciting that we have these big budget blockbusters that are catering towards everybody, and they are very entertaining. They are very exhilarating. I think that when the MCU was at such a high, they were consistently pumping out great film after great film. And like I said, even though I kind of similar to Veronica, where I'm not as caught up with what's happening. Movie wise, I'm on top of that, but the television stuff, everything on the side, I'm a little bit behind on that compared to most. But that being said, anytime the MCU puts something out, I'm intrigued. I'm very curious to see what direction they go in. And it is crazy that this franchise has been around for almost 20 years. It's wild that they're still pumping out stuff. And I do think that they're hopefully heading into the right direction with where they're going, not putting out as many projects as they were for a certain period of time. So I'm really excited to do this draft. I cannot wait to see what direction everyone goes because I don't even know what films you guys are going to lean heavily towards. So I'm really excited to see what happens here. And it is important to point out, I forgot to bring up this rule early on. You can only draft one film per franchise, so you cannot put two Avengers movies on your team. You can't put two Spider-Man movies on your team. I'm so sorry. It's just you gotta share the wealth. You gotta spread the love. You can't just devote your whole team to one specific character. So I'm very sorry, specifically to Sasha, because she like
No.
gasped.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm just like, so okay. Could multiple films be nominated from the same franchise, but then your team individually when you get them in the end?
Correct.
Okay. Understood.
Correct.
Sorry, that was a rule I should have asked about beforehand. A professional would have asked beforehand.
As one of the two hosts, I take full responsibility for not bringing this up before we record the pod. But I fumbled the bag early on, so I'm hopefully everyone enjoys that. But without further ado, shall we begin the draft? Shall we get started?
Let's draft.
Sure,
All right,
let's go.
Steven, you get to put the first film on the board. So what is going to be the first film to not only kick off your team, but the entire draft as a whole? A lot of pressure, I can imagine.
Okay, so I think I just have to go with one that I feel like is a crowd pleaser, but I also feel like I think it is my number one favorite. And I don't think I could sit here and say that it is the best. I feel like there's an argument for it to be the best, but I think for when it came out and for who's in it and for what they did and how they did it, I think that they, like, Marvel was 100% spot on with Captain America, the Winter Soldier. So I have to put that down as my number one for right now.
And how much are you going to bid on it?
I'm going to go so far as to say, I'm going to say 250.
Okay, 250. I will raise it to 275. I want to see how high you're willing to go for this film. You brought up before that this could be in contention for taking the spot as the best film in the MCU. While I don't think it's the best, well, it's not my personal favorite of the MCU. It's very high up in my ranking, but I do think that this is one of the few MCU films where the avid MCU fans really love this one, but then you could talk to a casual moviegoer who may not be into superhero films, and even they really like it. And we've talked about this film before on the podcast in previous drafts. I really loved the approach of kind of painting this as like an espionage political thriller that's akin to films from like the 70s. I love that decade so much, and I love this genre. And then to incorporate that into a superhero film to where it doesn't even feel like your conventional superhero film is really, really awesome. And it's one of those cases to where the sequel highly surpasses the original. And I do have a soft spot for that first Captain America, but I think this takes everything about that, brings it to a new level. And this was also right after the Avengers came out, so everyone was like, what are they going to do with Captain America following the Avengers? And I think that they did an exceptional job, and this is also the first foray into the Russo brothers working with the MCU, and we get introductions of many great characters, a fantastic ensemble. And I do think that for a big budget superhero film to be like, who are we going to cast as our villain? And we get the GOAT, Robert Redford, as your villain. That's just so inspiring to me. So, yeah, I'm going to raise it to 275. Ladies, are you going to participate in this bid? Do you have anything
Oh,
to add about this movie?
1000% I will be raising to 300 because this was 100% my first, like, gonna be my first pick. And Steven, I should have known with what you said before we started recording when you said that comment about, like, that I would follow you, like, till the end of the line, and you specifically didn't say it, but I should have known that this was gonna be your pick.
Oh,
I
man.
love this movie so much, and I totally agree with you. I think it is. If you're not gonna talk, like, if we can remove maybe some of the Avengers movies out of it, this to me feels like one of the best, if not the best, like written, structured. The concept
Yes.
was just there for this movie. They
Mhm.
knew what they were doing. The marketing was also impeccable. This was like so far before the MCU was so reliant on like a cameo or something. It was like, we're actually going to make some fun choices here. There's so many iconic scenes from this movie. Like, yeah, I have to raise it to
The
300.
bridge scene with the two of them before you realize it's Bucky with Black Widow and
Who
dude,
the hell is
the
Bucky?
choreography of the whole movie is stunning. Like it's just crazy good. Yeah,
And like you
300.
compare it to like the MCU stuff that has come out now, where it's a bit like hyperactive editing. There's like shots that stay on the action set pieces and everything, and it's so brilliant. And what amazes me too about the Russo brothers in this regard is that this was only their second feature film. The previous film they directed was a straight up comedy. They had come from a comedy background, so for them to do this high octane political
Kinda like
espionage
Favreau.
thriller, it's insane that they were able to pull this off. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's great.
All right.
Veronica,
So
are
do
you
I-
going to participate?
I really like this movie a lot. I understand I know that, not just among you three, like among the fan base, I think that there's a whole lot of passion for this one. Yeah, Brian, you shouted out how it's like a 70s espionage thriller. Like, I definitely think this is the one that you can bill as like, even if you don't necessarily like superhero movies, you would like this one. And there's a lot to enjoy on just like a thriller cinematic level. But it also does function as a great superhero movie, and it sets up, that Steve and Bucky relationship that is so paramount moving forward for the rest of the series, and it like lays a really strong bedrock for like what else is to come with these characters. So yeah, I do really like this one. I will bow out of bidding though, because I feel like you three gotta battle it out.
Okay, the last bit was 300. I'll go 310. Steven,
Yeah, 325.
do you have anything to add about this movie? Like anything that you want to bring up that we haven't mentioned yet?
I thought everybody did a great job. I think I just think that it was one of the more like well executed one. This is like peak early Marvel for me. This carried us through like after the Avengers, like this was one of the peak moments because you had Thor in the Dark World kind of in the same era, and so
That was
This
right
was
before
like-
this.
I don't know. I think that this is just like a breath of fresh air.
And it does also introduce us to Anthony Mackie as Falcon. We got
Yeah.
more with Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. My guy Frank Grillo, very underrated actor who now is obviously involved with DC. And yeah, this this movie's so
I'm gonna
good.
say-
Oh my god,
I'm gonna say 325.
325.
I gotta go
Sasha?
to 350. I'm so sorry, Steven, man. We're gonna have to battle out for this one.
No,
I
no,
I'm
you're fine.
I'm going to back out of this bid. It's between the two of you, so duke it out. Let's go. Let's see how
You know,
high
I'm
you
gonna-
both are willing to go.
No, I'm gonna say 375.
Okay, I'm gonna hold.
Oh, at 375.
Yeah, I'll let you have it.
All right, I guess it's fine.
There's so many other ones. You fought a hard battle, Steven. I'm just like I'm thinking of other movies now, and I'm like, okay.
I thought I could get you.
I
thought I could get you over 400.
You might, I don't know, you might have, but then I was like, ugh, something else might pop
so
up
many
for like
more,
600,
yeah.
and then I'm screwed. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
gotta watch
true.
out for other priorities.
yeah.
How fitting is it that a guy named Steven gets a film where the main character also shares the name Steve?
If that were the case, it'd have to be a Doctor Strange movie because he spells it the way I spell it.
There you go.
He's a
Oh,
Steven.
fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
It's all right.
Okay, so you got Winter Soldier for 375. That's a fantastic get. Fantastic amount of money spent on that film. So now we're gonna go to me, and I could go the route of putting up the MCU film. I could just be safe and do that.
What is
But
the
instead, what
what
I'm
is
going
the
to
film?
do is pick my favorite MCU movie, which fittingly enough also came out in 2014. So I am going to put Guardians of the Galaxy on the table. This is my favorite of the entire franchise, simply because no one really knew anything about the Guardians of the Galaxy before this movie came out. And what I really appreciate too about this movie, even though it is super early on where the MCU was established but still trying to find a bit of their footing, I like that this movie didn't rely on previous installments. This was the first time that we were seeing these characters. We didn't need to watch any previous installments to get a full grasp and understanding of what this movie was trying to do. The style of it is so unique. I think James Gunn, again, now someone who has left Marvel and is now taken over the DC realm and everything. I think that for me, a lot of the superhero films that I've really enjoyed over the last 15 years have fittingly enough been directed by him. And I think that what he's able to do here by making it super razor sharp, funny, very entertained. There's a lot of poignancy also sprinkled throughout this movie. I mean, the movie opens on a pretty emotional note, which is crazy because the rest of the movie is this hilarious romp with a lot of heart sprinkled throughout. I think everybody is perfectly cast in this movie. Now, I've said this before on the pod, and I think I've texted Steven this many times. I fucking hate Chris Pratt so much. I cannot stand him at all.
Yeah, you
But
said that a bunch.
I love
I
him
can't
so much
confirm.
as this character. I think everybody is perfectly cast on this team. Zoe Saldana as Gamora, Dave Bautista as Drax, Vin Diesel as Groot, and Bradley Cooper as Rocket. Everybody is perfect here. Everyone is bringing their A game. The soundtrack is wonderful. The visual
Especially
aesthetic is
him.
really cool and slick. So this is my favorite of the MCU. I adore this movie with every fiber of my being, and I'm going to start the bid at $200.
I think that Guardians propelled the MCU forward for like a while. I think it gave it like a lot of gave it like new life. It gave it a breath of fresh air because I think at this point, like you said, MCU was established, like it had been around several years at this point, and I feel like when Guardians was announced, the general consensus was like, oh man, they're really like digging into the bottom of the barrel with these characters. Like nobody knew who they were. Like people had a relationship already to Iron Man and to Captain America, and so all the ancillary characters you dipped into those stories, but this felt like I don't know how they can pull this off, having this, now it's a space story when everything else has been more grounded. And the fact that this was so successful, both box office and critically, and fans loved it. I think that really gave them like a bit of oomph to try things that are a little bit different, and to, anytime there was anything else announced where it was like, not sure if this is going to work, it was kind of like, well, they pulled it off with Guardians. Like that's, one of the best movies in the series. And yeah, I definitely agree. I think that this is probably my favorite James Gunn movie. All respect to the Scooby-Doo series, which I do really enjoy.
Of course.
But yeah, it's got his signature style, which I don't know if Marvel kind of blended into that, and it was like a good enough mix that it gelled well enough while still being like much more distinctive. I think a complaint now is that Marvel movies are kind of just have their set house tone and style and everything. So this was a breath of fresh air. It was invigorating for the series. I really love all the characters, I agree. Chris Pratt, not my favorite, but I think he's almost because he is so successful in this part, it kind of feels like he tried to just keep doing that sort of thing. So yeah, I think that everyone is so well cast. Yeah, I will raise this to 250.
I miss when my two favorite Chris Pratt performances are as Star-Lord and as Andy on Parks and Rec. After this, like, he kind of peaked for me, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Because Andy is a
Seriously,
perfect
man.
television character.
Did you guys know that Glenn Howerton was originally going to play this character?
Yeah.
How interesting that would have been. Maybe we wouldn't have gone Blackberry, Veronica.
Oh, I wouldn't trade that. So
Exactly.
I'm not gonna take that deal.
So would you raise it to $250?
Yeah.
I'll go $300. Sasha, Steven, do you have anything to add about Guardians?
I think I might raise it to 310. I love Guardians. The first one specifically. The other two, The second one I famously am not the craziest fan of, which I guess maybe is not the best strategy for this draft to
I'm
admit
not.
that.
I'm not as high on that one either as
But
everyone else.
I'm not crazy about it. The first one is just such a great soundtrack cast. It's fun. It is it to Veronica's point. It's like, okay, you went from Hail Hydra to now like here's this gang of misfits that are breaking out of a intergalactic prison that you've never heard of before. And it was such a strong pivot. It was such a expansion of the world. I would personally argue, this was brought up to me by a friend recently, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it, that like to me there's a little bit too much James Gunnification of superhero movies that I don't personally love. Again, like Superman, like all that kind of stuff, but like I think I would raise this to 310, but that's the highest I think I'm gonna go. Clearly, I do not have great like negotiation strategy for this draft. It's not great.
No,
Unless you're tricking all of us. Reverse psychology.
No,
Steven?
you guys can have this one. I don't want this one. So I really love them. I love it. I really do. But I just spent $375, so I need to chill. You guys can have this one.
That is true. The wallet's hurting a little bit.
Because I do have some that I do want, so I got to save up.
Smart. What was the last bid? 310.
310.
I'll go 325. What is everyone's favorite needle drop in this movie? If anyone has one.
I'm kind of partial to the cherry bomb.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
love that. That's
one's
also what I
great.
called my car. I have a red car, and I was like, my parents call it the cherry bomb.
That's awesome.
I feel like is it hooked on a feeling when he's like
That's-
dancing? I feel
yep.
like that's
It's
the
a
first one I
classic.
think of, you know? Like that's like iconic.
Steven, do you have a favorite needle drop in this movie?
Which one?
Do you have a favorite song in this movie?
In Guardians?
Guardians.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of off the top of my head.
No. I'm just currently planning my strategy for my
Steven's
next pick.
downplaying right now, and then he's going to come in guns a-blazing for Guardians 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, I need this one. You guys don't understand. No, let me look up the soundtrack because the soundtrack is sick. I just can't think of them all right now. There's probably like
to
12
separate
songs on
from
there.
the ones that have been mentioned so far, I really love the fooled around and fell in love. The whole sequence where Peter is talking to
Go
Gamora.
around and fell in love.
A great American hero called Kevin Bacon.
Love him.
Where's the last bid? 325. Was that my last bid?
I think that was you. Yeah, I'll raise it to 350.
I'll go
And-
375.
Oh.
Shout out also to the Guardians roller coaster in Epcot and Disney World because it's a really, really good time and you get a different song every time you go through. There's like 6 different songs that it can rotate through. Very fun.
Those are my favorite videos of people like, I'm Sasha, and I think that you're going to be September. Those are my favorite.
I went on I haven't been on the ride at Epcot, but I went on the one at Disneyland where it replaced Tower Terror, and it's like you're going up and down to the beat of a song. Oh my god, it was so good. I'm trying to think of the song that played when I don't remember. It was so long ago. It was so much fun. So yeah, 375 is my next bid.
380.
Oh.
390.
All right, you can have it.
Sweet.
Dang. I feel like that's personally kind of a high price to pay for Guardians. I do like it. I do think it will do you well with the general public voting on this, but
Listen,
it stresses me out that in this draft it's worth more than Winter Soldier. Like, I should have fought harder.
You should have.
We're learning as we go, okay? We're
Well,
learning
maybe
as
you
we
could
go.
fight really hard with Veronica when she puts her first film on the board. So,
Her
Veronica,
improv
you're
perhaps we
next.
will.
Let's see. Yeah, my first one. Yeah, I think this is a fairly easy decision for me. I have like a pretty solid favorite, and I think it's also popular and also acclaimed and everything kind of checks every box. So I am going to nominate Black Panther for my first nomination. Yeah, I think that's pretty solidly my favorite. I think that it just does that perfect thing of blending, you know, big budget action storytelling with like a really solid core kind of message and theme that it's playing with. A great character at the center, a great villain, which is so crucial. And as you know, if you get that wrong, the movie generally sucks. So, Killmonger is just an all-timer villain for MCU and for movies in general. Chadwick Boseman, obviously, just R.I.P. What a loss, just to the future that he could have had as a person and as an artist. I think that it's just the central conflict here of like kind of isolationism versus helping other people in the world, and what do Black people who have been oppressed in certain ways, like what do they owe to other people? Do they like protect those resources? They protect themselves? It just asks a lot of questions while being like such a fun popcorn movie that just probably has some of the best examples of action sequences and just cool costumes, cool cool superhero stuff in this. I just think nominated for Best Picture. I just think that it's like kind of it just crosses over into. It's like the best of pretty much any category you could look at. I think so. I'll throw $200 for Black Panther.
I'm gonna raise that to 250. To everything you said, Veronica, like the central conflict of this movie and Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger are like two of the biggest standouts in a film that is like almost entirely standouts to me. Like you have Ludwig Göransson's first Oscar for the score here, a Kendrick Lamar led and produced soundtrack, which is just insane. And why are you laughing?
What?
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
laughing.
You're gonna sneak in behind me and steal this with your money. I know.
Who, me?
You, Brian.
I'm not gonna. You don't know what I'm gonna. I'm not.
Yeah,
laughing.
I know.
I'm
I know.
not into
Anyway.
agreeing of your praises for Ludwig and Kendrick. Those are
That's
two
fair,
of my
that's
guys.
Fair. That's fair. But yeah, like this movie just top to bottom. And also, I just think like the story of like Ryan Coogler goes from Fruitvale Station, then he does Creed, and then he does Black Panther. Like an insane run of 3 films for a director, now an Oscar-winning director. Like it's just, yeah, I love this movie. 250 is where I'm raising to.
You both look like you're contemplating. 251.
That's a real offer.
Fair enough. Being frugal. Yeah, that's fine.
I'll go 260. I think it's pretty incredible that this was the first superhero film to be nominated for Best Picture. Veronica brought up its Best Picture nomination. It had a historic moment by becoming the first ever superhero film nominated for the highest prize in Hollywood, which is amazing. I completely agree with everything that both of you said about the film. Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, that's one of the best villains, not only of the MCU, but one of the best villains in cinema of the last 10 to 15 years. He is so unbelievably good here. A recent Oscar winner, Michael B. Jordan, important to point that out, fittingly for a Ryan Coogler film. Yeah, the score is so fucking good. And like the soundtrack, like the music is like up there as one of the strongest elements of this film. But then also Ruth Carter's costumes, incredible. The production design, visually it could be a bit wonky at times, but there's a lot of really cool set pieces here, and it has probably my favorite ensemble in an MCU film that isn't an Avengers movie. You brought up Michael B. Jordan, you obviously brought up Chadwick Boseman, Lupita Nyong'o, Martin Freeman, Daniel Kaluuya, Dana Gurria, Letitia Wright, Winston Duke, my guy Sterling K. Brown, Angela Bassett did the thing, Forrest Whitaker, and everyone's fave, Andy Serkis. What a fucking ensemble. Oh my God. Just really, what a hell of a film, truly. And yeah, Sasha, you brought up Ryan Coogler's run. One of my favorite 3-film runs in recent memory for sure. So yeah, 260. Let's see how high everyone's willing to go.
I'll raise it up to 300. And yeah, good to call out the ensemble cast for sure. Yeah, I think this was the first thing I saw Winston Duke in, and I was like, who is that guy? He's so perfect in this. He's so funny. Yeah, I wish he was worked a little more. Like I feel like he has been a little quiet.
And then he and
years,
Lupita were both in Us together.
And then in Us, yeah, so good in that too, both of them.
Yes.
Did you ever see the movie 9 Days where he was the lead of that?
No, I remember hearing about it,
Oh,
but
so good.
yeah.
That movie's incredible.
Incredible showcase for him. Fantastic film.
All right, yeah, 300. Anybody else want to jump in?
310. Yeah, this is one that deserves to be on someone's list. Yeah, you fight for this one.
I am tapped out. Sasha?
No, I'm gonna hold. There's still a lot left, so I'm gonna hold.
All right, so between
I'll
Veronica and
raise
Steven.
it. Yeah, I'll raise to 325.
Cool. Cheers.
Nice.
I'm loving like standoff we're having, and then somebody goes, "Oh yeah, no, okay, I'm done."
Those are the
That was
best
it. That
moments
was
of
my
the
limit.
draft.
Gotta just call it at some point. All right, Sasha, your pick is up next.
Oh, there's so many options. Okay.
I know. I have a list written
I
down on a
think
piece of paper.
I know. I think I need to go for this film because I have the most money that I'm going to have. I am going to nominate a film that, while I don't love it as much as its sequel, do think that the public is going to love, and I'm willing to fight for it, and that is Avengers Infinity War. I've had this debate with my husband for literally, I guess, like almost 10 years now. Because I love Endgame, because I feel like Endgame is like a fan movie, where Infinity War is a more like critical, like that is like a better movie from a structural perspective, from a storyline perspective. You are like the person at the end of the movie that wins is the antagonist is the person that is like pushing the story forward, who accomplishes their hero's journey throughout, accomplishes their goals. And I just think this film also does so much of the work of proves the Russo brothers are capable of going, well, here's all these characters, they can meet for the first time, and we can make that be fun and compelling and give everyone their screen time without making it feel clunky. And I don't know where to start this at, because all of you are a little bit more strapped for cash than I am. So I'm going to start at 200. Not because I think that's what the movie's worth, but we're going to see how high this goes. That's my pitch for Infinity War.
I agree with your assessment, like Endgame versus Infinity War. I do prefer Infinity War because I'm fucked up and like the bleak ending. Because I think that I mean, obviously I was pretty well, speculated then that was going to get undone in one way or another in the next film. But like it's a pretty bold move to leave everyone going out of the theater on that note, and like to and to your point, yeah, the whole movie leading up to that is just the juggling act of taking these characters that we've seen lead their own movies and trying to fit them all into an ensemble without having tonal clashes, without underserving someone's story for someone else. It was just like a marvel that they pulled it off, and was just it was just an impressive achievement. And yeah, this is like I think we talked about this recently too on another draft. Like, this is Thanos' movie. He's like the protagonist here, and the fact that he is this iconic villain now, like we're kind of always talking about like, oh, this villain is the Thanos of this world or this universe or whatever. Like, he's just synonymous with the ultimate threat, the ultimate big bad, and that takes a lot of work. I think that people try to establish a character to that degree very unsuccessfully more often than not. So yeah, I just think that this one is it's a great movie to watch. It's just a great thrill ride, and just a huge achievement. So I will raise it to 250.
I don't know if I like Infinity War or Endgame more. I've had that debate for the last 7 years. Yeah, has it been 7 years? Yeah, 7 years. And I completely agree with everything that you said, though, about this movie. And it ended on a downer. I mean, like, I certainly expected the movie to end on a big note, considering that we all knew going in that this was, the first half of this epic story and everything. But I did not expect them to do what they did, even though, like Veronica said, we all knew that they were going to come back one way or the other. We were just unsure of how we were going to get to that point. But, yeah, and it being Thanos' movie through and through is just an incredible decision on the filmmaker's part. And Josh Brolin is unbelievable as this character. What he's able to do in the motion capture work and everything, it's very hard to pull off a performance like this, and he does such a compelling job of bringing this character to life to where you don't necessarily agree with Thanos' actions, but you're so immersed with his story that when Thanos is at his lowest point, when he is emotional, you actually feel something, which is crazy. I'm a sucker for a very troubled villain, a villain who has some emotion behind them. And I think that everything you guys said is absolutely warranted. And I also think that this movie has some of the funniest moments in the MCU, considering how bleak and dark this movie is. When we did our most recent draft, and I think, Veronica, you put this on your team,
Yeah.
I think that one of the funniest moments in this entire film is when Thor meets the Guardians for the first time, and they're like, "Oh, who is this? Who is this dude? He is not a dude. You're a dude. This is a man, a handsome man, a muscular man. I'm muscular. Who are you kidding, Quill? You're one sandwich away from fat." Wonderful stuff. So, what was the last bid on this?
I think I said 250.
Let's raise it to 350.
Oh, wow.
Let's jump up big. Let's see how high everyone's willing to go. Steven, are you going to partake in bidding on this film?
So yeah, one of the things about this movie that I've always kind of like equated it to in my head, it's like Empire Strikes Back. It's like everything goes wrong. This is the movie where everything goes to shit. And I think when it's done right, we love watching that because it's like our heroes worked this whole time to undo this thing and it ended up not working. Spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. And so, yeah, it's very important. MCU, we're big on spoilers. And so, no, it's just really fun to watch everything go bad, and then you're like, how are they going to put it back together? And well, Endgame is awesome and super cool, and I do like the way they tied it all together. Something about the structure and like Wanda and Vision at the end, and like there's just so much that rips at your heartstrings as well, and then all gets undone, and then doesn't, and then it's just a whiplash, dude. So I think that's awesome, and I'm gonna. What was the last bid? 350? Is that what you said?
350. Mm-hmm.
375 for that one.
I gotta go to 400.
Yeah, 415. Why not? I mean, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark, but why not?
Oh my god. 420. It means get lost, Squidward.
I'll bow
I gotta go
out.
425.
No, I'm out.
Oh, Sasha's slowing down.
How much do I? I have.
Or am I?
I have 665 left. I'll call 450.
Ooh,
460.
do it. Yes.
475.
So I'm like, hopefully, ideally, we're all going to end up with like an Avengers movie, and this is my favorite of the Avengers ones. So I'm
500.
inclined to ride hard for it. But
Yeah.
what was the last bid?
475.
480.
485.
Oh, okay.
Whoa!
I'll go for 86.
Oh, come on.
Someone go 500. Someone go 500. Just call it even.
500.
Oh,
501.
All right. I'm out.
Yes! More than half my money's gone, but I got it. I needed something. You guys, I was looking at the board and I was like, oh, this is not looking hot for me if I don't take this one, so I gotta get it.
501.
501.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I
you know
think
what-
that's warranted.
And you know what else is awesome? Sasha gets to put another film on the board.
Yes. Let's go. Okay. The next one I'm gonna put on. Okay. Bryan and I did an entire podcast about this movie. This is Spider-Man Homecoming. This is my
Okay.
personal favorite Spider-Man movie. I think it
I
is
watched that
such a great
recently.
introduction to the character. As Bryan and I talked about, it's a coming of age movie. There's something so like feel good, like to what Steven was talking about the MCU. Like there's a nostalgia that I have towards this movie, and especially now as we like approach like a new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Homecoming has such a oh my gosh, if I can speak, a special place in my heart. And I also just think there's so much fun to be had with this kind of friendly neighborhood spider guy swinging around. Like it just feels perfect to me. So I'm gonna have to start low here at 100.
I
think
will
that
raise
that's,
it to
like,
125.
spot on.
I'm going to raise it to 125. As the big coming of age fan that I am, even though this isn't my favorite MCU film, as I alluded to before, this is probably the most Bryan coded MCU film, and I'm so glad that they did make a coming of age film. with Spider-Man as the lead of that coming of age film. And the beautiful thing about Homecoming was that obviously this was Spider-Man's first solo film in the MCU. We were introduced to this incarnation of the character in Civil War, and I loved everything that we got with him in that. And I was really excited to see how Tom Holland was going to carry his own Spider-Man film, riding on the shoulders of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, bringing this character to life. Certainly not an easy task for him to do, but this movie, fully reminded me that we were in good hands with this character and who was bringing him to life. And yeah, it does feel very nostalgic. It feels very lived in. I like that we have him trying to balance out the life of being a teenager, but also wanting to help out and be a superhero and protect the neighborhood. And everyone's like, you're just a kid. Leave the work for us adults, and you just stay on the ground, be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but don't get into any shenanigans. And him failing to do that and listen to that piece given to him made it so compelling to watch. And we already talked about, great villains in Josh Brolin as Thanos, Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. I think up there for the conversation is absolutely Michael Keaton as Vulture.
Yeah.
Phenomenal churn. Keaton is the man. We love Keaton so much. And I think it's so cool that, he played Batman and now he's playing a Marvel villain. Like, I think that is such inspired casting. And it's safe to say that one of, if not maybe the best twists in the MCU comes from this film. So I think that there is a lot to celebrate about this. It's a criminally underrated entry in the MCU that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about. And I know that the other films that followed this incarnation of Spider-Man, maybe they're better to a degree. I don't know. I love all three of them equally, but I do think that this one should get a lot more attention than it deserves. And I also love how it, is a homage to John Hughes films, to the point where the sequence where Peter's running through the backyards, it's akin to Ferris Bueller. We see a shot of Ferris Bueller being watched on a TV, and I love that very much. It works for me. I don't know. I think it's great. So, yeah, I'm going to raise it to, did I already put a bid down? I don't know if I did.
You said 125. But
yeah, 125. That's where I'm going to go.
I like this movie a lot. Yeah, everything that you both said, totally agree with that. This is like fundamentally a high school movie with, superhero stuff thrown in. And yeah, the idea of him just being scared to talk to the girl he likes, and while also dealing with the superhero side of him, and keeping his identity safe and everything. So yeah, I think that just Tom Holland, he had been introduced already, but just getting his full star debut here. And I think he's just a fantastic Spider-Man. Like, we were talking recently about him as an actor and everything, and even though he hasn't had the best projects outside of the MCU for most of his career, I think that everyone universally just kind of agrees he's like a fantastic Spider-Man. I think he just embodies everything that the character is about. He's a wonderful performer, so watchable, so likable. So I think this is a great showcase for him for his big debut. I'll raise it to 150.
And I also love, too, that this isn't an origin movie. I was so worried going into this movie that we were going to get, like, the origin of him and everything. But we already know who he is at this point. We don't see Uncle Ben dying or anything. Like, we don't see him get bit by the spider. He's already Spider-Man when this movie begins. But also when we're introduced to him in Civil War, he's already Spider-Man at that point. So I really love that they're like, oh, we're not going to do the origin again because we've already seen it 2 times on screen. We don't need to do it again. So I really commend them for that. Steven, you and I have had many conversations about Tommy Holland. He's one of your boys. Are you going to partake in bidding on this film?
155, baby. Let's go. Yeah, I think this is a great one. I think that this is a solid introduction movie. I think it's a crowd pleaser. I love the moment where the Falcon and Peter kind of like understand that they're each other's enemy, where he realizes, oh my God, her dad is, and oh my God, he realizes that the whole prom moment is really, really well done. And I think that they captured it perfectly, and the whole like Tony Stark being like his mentor and, Happy keeping him in line and everything. It's just, it's so babysitter. It's so, I want to get out from underneath my babysitter's thumb. Like, I want to be bigger. I want to be better, but you have to do something brave and big and bold to get there. So I don't know. It's awesome. Yeah, I agree. 155. That's my bid for this one.
I gotta go 160. You're selling me on my own movie, Steven.
I
I'll let
liked
you
how
have it
this had
160.
one of I like how this movie had one of the most serious Tony Stark moments when he takes the suit away from him. Like because
Oh,
Tony Stark throughout most of the time
Yes.
in the MCU, he's
He is
he's
not
very
fucking around
quippy
except when
and
he's
everything.
talking to
Like
that
he is
boy.
not fucking around in that moment. I'm like, oh, I thought he was
well,
gonna throw a quip there, and he didn't do that at all. And I'm like, oh, he ain't fucking around, and I love seeing that side of
Uh-uh.
him.
and it's such an excellent moment because it's such like a spiritual successor moment to Iron Man 3, a movie that I deeply love but was not going to mention today because I know that
Uh,
people feel differently about it than I
I
do. But
yeah.
like it's that entire concept of Iron Man 3 is like who is like take that suit off, like or Cap says it in Avengers, like take that suit of armor away, who are you? Genius billionaire
Right.
playboy philanthropist. But like in that moment after Iron Man 3, in this moment in Homecoming, he's like, no kid, like there's real like stakes to this shit. Like you cannot just be playing around. You have to listen to me. I do care enough to show up for you in Like, oh, that scene is just so
Mhm.
excellent.
What was the last bid?
I agree.
I went to 160.
60.
I'll go 175.
I'll bow out of the bidding. I do like it, but you guys can all battle with each other.
180.
I like that we have two great superhero films that also act as coming of age films, this and Sky High. So very much appreciative of that.
Love Sky High.
Sky High is phenomenal. Was my bid the last one? 175?
I went to
Yeah.
180.
180? Steven, are you gonna bid anymore? Or are you tapping out?
No, because I got my eye on a different prize.
All right. All right, Sasha, I'll let you have it.
Thank you, Ryan. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you.
What was that? How much did you get it for?
180.
180. Very nice.
Bargain. Nice.
Yeah, that's a bargain for Spider-Man.
For Spidey. Let's
Let's
go
just
catch
hope
a
I have
spider.
enough left to finish this out, or I'll be buying some real dingers for $1
We're gonna be
at the end
betting
of
that,
this
like,
thing.
no, I'm gonna be thrown out a bit here in a bit. That's gonna be fun to actually do.
Okay, Veronica,
right.
back to you.
Back to me. I'm gonna throw it back to the beginning. I'm gonna go 2008's Iron Man. This was. I just have like I have a pretty clear memory of seeing this in the theaters, like with my family. I think we all loved the Sam Raimi Spider-Man and everything. Like we were into superhero movies for that. This coming at the same time as Dark Knight was just like what a crazy summer for superhero storytelling and filmmaking and everything. And yeah, Iron Man. I mean, I used to watch it so much. It was just again, it's like and I don't mean to have superhero movie as like a demerit or anything, but like it is something that I just feel like even if you don't have any affinity for comic book movies or superheroes or anything, like it's just such an enjoyable movie. Robert Downey Jr.'s performance is just top notch. Like he is so synonymous with this character. He was coming off of not having the best track record in Hollywood and everything, and this was like seen as a bit of a risk to cast him in this giant project. And I mean, no one knew how giant exactly it was going to get, but I think that him and Jon Favreau, like just that tone is just so they just work so well together. And so I just think it's a really well constructed superhero movie that just I could sit down and you try to watch 5 minutes of it and you end up watching the entire thing. It's just one of those kinds of movies for me. So yeah, Iron Man for 100.
Let's raise it
I
up to
heard-
$200. Let's go up to 200.
Oh, already?
All right.
Yep, let's rip it off. One of the best in the MCU, a fantastic introduction to this franchise. Everything that Veronica said is completely true. Robert Downey Jr. is so good in this role, but like you said, this was a huge gamble to cast someone out of his status at this point. He had a very troubled personal life, and he was starting to kind of make a bit of a resurgence in Hollywood, but to have this leading man who still wasn't fully embraced by people after everything that happened in his personal life, this was, a bit of a comeback for him. And I like to think, and I think he said this in an interview, that this role kind of saved his life. And I think that that's a really special thing to take notice of. And Jon Favreau's way of balancing like this big spectacle with a lot of character growth and development is something that we don't really see a ton of in these studio blockbusters. So the fact that he was able to do that with this is really incredible. And, you could say what you want about the MCU now, but you have to give a lot of credit to Jon Favreau for kicking off this entire thing. And it's wonderful. And Veronica, your guy, Jeff Bridges, as the first MCU villain, pretty awesome pick as the first villain. Yeah, it's so good. And like you said, you turn it on, even if you're midway through the movie and it's on TV. I just watched the whole way through. It's so good. It's
Tony
it's
Stark
one of the
built this
best.
in a cave with a box of
A
scraps.
box of scraps.
Oh my god, so good.
No,
Oh,
isn't it so? Isn't the little? Okay, so this is what I heard. So this could be absolute BS, but correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, Jon Favreau's previous film was Elf, and from what I heard, it's the snowball scene in Elf. Him directing that particular scene is what got him like seen for like wanting to be able to direct Iron Man because they're like, oh well, he can clearly handle like an action-packed sequence or whatever, plus heart, plus comedy, plus whatever. But I heard that it was specifically because of Elf and because of that snowball scene that he was able to like get the opportunity to do Iron Man.
I have
Now, you
no
can,
like
like,
actual proof,
Google
but I
that.
have also heard this story, Steven. So
Okay.
I'm gonna back you up with no other backup of my own, but I will put my name on the line.
We're gonna
So-
He's also
Mandela
done
effect ourselves.
Zathura.
Yeah.
he made Zathura right before Iron Man, but I do remember hearing the same thing about Elf.
Oh,
that
the
you
Thor!
just brought
I'm
up,
watching that
Steven.
literally on my. I was literally watching it last night. I was falling asleep to Zathura.
Zathura? Oh, that's an all-timer film.
I
That's
like
a
Zathura,
fantastic
yeah.
film. Great Josh Hutcherson performance and K Stu. So
Yep.
what was the? Did I put the last bid on the table? 200. I think
Yes,
it was
you
me,
did.
right?
Yeah.
Sasha, Steven, are you gonna bid on this?
It really saddens me, but I just don't have enough, I think, to bid on this one because if I go any higher than 200, we're talking scraps for the end. So my strat's going to be to stay out of this one. But I echo what everyone else says. Like, this movie stands up. I mean, so many of these movies do. They're not that old. But I feel like this movie, for being the foundation, essentially, of what has become, like, this 37-plus film franchise, you can see why, like, they were like, oh, we'll make 1 million more of these. And also, like, to the
Yeah.
extent of, like, no one will ever be Tony Stark because every time they try to do it, they'll just be impersonating Robert Downey Jr. Like, I don't think there ever will be able to be another one. They will reboot him, I'm sure, someday, but it won't be RDJ.
Yeah, the established tone and style of the MCU, like it is Robert Downey Jr. Essentially, everyone is
It is.
riffing off of that or subverting that, but like he's the blueprint.
I don't know. I think I'd bet
What was the last
210.
thing?
I think I'd go
210.
210 for this one. That
I'll
would
raise
be.
it to 250.
250. Wow.
That's yours. You can have it.
Brian.
Brian, you want to go higher. You want 255, don't you, Brian? You want 285. You want 700.
I just want to see how high Veronica's willing to go for this.
Let me keep my money.
I'll raise it to
Think how bad you want your own.
260.
Let's see, I'll go 270.
Ooh.
I just feel like that's kind of low for this movie, though.
Yeah, you guys could go way
Because this
higher.
is the film that started the whole thing. And it did it beautifully, too. It's like,
I mean, sounds like you want to spend more money, Brian, is what it sounds like.
well, I want to win. That's what I want. What was the last bit? Two what?
270.
All right, it's yours.
Thank you.
There we go. Okay. That's fun.
I was not drafting
Black
either
Panther
of-
Iron Man is like a 1-2 punch, absolutely.
That is a
I
good
was not going to
punch.
draft another Iron Man, so
Wow, how are you keeping
Okay.
track of what other people got? Kind of forget those.
Who, me?
No,
On
just
the-
Sasha. You just.
On the dock.
I mean, there's nothing.
Brian's
updated on-
updating it as we go.
It's all blank.
I'm
for me.
update.
Oh.
Oh,
Maybe
and then
you
it's hit
refresh it
refresh.
Automatically.
There we go. Now refreshing.
There you
Now I
go.
see
You got it.
Yay, guys.
It's like a boy. It's like a boy figuring out his first steps.
I'm
Okay.
wobbly here. Get woozy here.
All right, we're back to me.
Wait.
What? What?
Yeah, no, no, you're good. I don't know, just throwing you a
Um,
curveball. Wait. I'm just kidding.
Making sure you were paying attention.
okay, next up, I feel like it's time to bring up the film, the big one.
Right.
We're going to talk
The
about Avengers
Marvels.
Endgame.
Oh,
So, as has been
The
alluded
Marvels.
to on this pod so far, it seems that a majority of the people here, as well as myself, seem to prefer Infinity War over Endgame, which is a very valid take. I still think that Endgame is a fucking great movie, personally. I think that it wrapped up everything very nicely. If this had been the end of this MCU, I think it would have ended on such a high, quite frankly. And I've liked some of the films that we have gotten following this, of course, but there was something very euphoric about going to the theater and watching this, knowing that this was the end of this particular saga that had been built for over 10 years from the first Iron Man until the very end. We got to the end game of it all, and we were all very interested to see how it was going to go down. And I think that this film, had the difficult task of, concluding this very massive story, bringing in all these characters and everything. And you were like, are they going to fumble the bag with this? For me personally, I don't think they did that at all. There was everything that you wanted in not just a blockbuster film, not just a superhero film, but a film in general. You had the emotion, you had the heart, you had the comedy, you had incredible action, very well established visual set pieces, and it all culminated into a very epic historical final battle. We all think of moments that made us cheer and scream with glee in the theater, and I know that this is overdrawn and everybody has talked about this and people have memed this to death and put it down, but I still think that the moment of Cap picking up the hammer is an all-timer moment. Listen, you could say whatever you want. You could say, oh, that's stupid. Maybe it is. I don't know. I think it's fucking rad, personally. I will never forget watching this in the theater opening night with all my friends. We rented out like a whole row. It was like me and 20 other people. Like we took up an entire row at the theater, which was so cool. And it's also special too because this came out the year before the pandemic. And I remember when COVID started and the 1 year anniversary of this movie happened, the Russo brothers and all these other people were posting videos of like audience reaction videos. And I'm not usually a big fan of whenever those surface around the internet, but there was something very special in that moment of seeing that because it made us miss the theatrical experience of going to the theater and just having a really good time. But I think that this movie is so good and it still holds up very, very well to me. I think that the end in battle is wonderful. I think the time travel element is coolly handled. A lot of great comedy throughout this. A lot of emotional moments. Everything that they do with Tony Stark was beautifully handled to the point where, RDJ, like I think that this performance like genuinely broke my heart to see him at this point. And we gave him a lot of gravitas, and I thought that they wrapped up his arc so beautifully. The funeral at the end, the final moment with Steve, the last shot of the movie is incredible. Yeah, this film for me, it was everything I wanted and more, and I still think that it holds up very, very well. So I'm gonna start the bid for this. I'll start it at 150.
Since I have Infinity War and I'm understanding the rules correctly because I'm a good listener, I can't bid on this, to my understanding.
Correct.
So I will just say I am an Endgame truther. I respect the opinion that Infinity War is a better movie, but I reject it for myself personally. I love Endgame. There will never, to your point, Brian, be a better cinematic experience I will ever have in my life, and I've just already accepted this as truth. Like, then seeing Endgame in theaters, opening night, like going and buying that ticket, which I fought for with my life and have never tried to do for a movie since, to be quite honest. Like, I did it the one time, and like I remember being in English class in college and being like, hold the phone, I'm quite busy
like the
right now.
hype around this movie was massive.
Yes. Exactly. to the
I
point,
skip
Steve.
I
Yes.
skipped a class to drive to the AMC by my college to just get tickets because the apps kept crashing. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna drive. There was
I
one
have to
5 minutes
get
down the
tickets.
road, and I got there was 15 tickets printed out. I
It
don't
was
think I
just-
ever spent more money on a single transaction in my
Yes.
entire life than this.
Yes.
So funny.
Huge money. And I think it's just, yeah, it speaks to a story world being built and an incredible time, and the fact that somehow for this movie, because it's never happened since that I've ever witnessed, there were actual, because it was a campaign of the advertising of like, do not spoil the end game, like keep this quiet.
Yes.
I did not see a leak about this movie for probably a month. And like that was with like actively seeking out like content like that. And we will never have that again. And so that's why I love this movie. But again, I have no money to pitch for.
No, I think it's one of the top picks, and I think that it resolved everything so well, gave me everything we wanted. I mean, on your left, I mean, Cap standing against like a gigantic army. You know, if nobody else is gonna do it, he's gonna do it. Oh my god, dude! And then the three of them standing off against Thanos. Come on, man.
Chills.
Come on. The stuff in the past with Tony Stark and his dad, like being able to have some sincere
Played by
moments.
the great John Slatery. Oh my god, just one of my
Yes.
favorites. One of my guys.
Wonderful. And one of my favorite one of my favorite moments of the entire MCU happens in this movie. And it's Steve Rogers at the end after he's all old and gray. And he gets asked like by Sam, he goes, "You want to tell me about her?" And he goes, "No, I don't think I will." The way that he just held her so precious that he didn't even want to, like, no, it's not for you, it's not for anyone else but me. And then you're like, oh, it breaks my heart. The way he's just like looking off so longingly for her. And then we cut
Oh my
back to him
God.
having the dance that he always said he was gonna give to her back in Captain America.
It's
He
so
finally
good.
got it.
Everything just tying
got his
together.
dance.
Like if this had been the end, oh man, oh
Yeah.
But that's the
Okay,
thing.
so that being
It's
said,
a closing
yeah.
of a chapter.
Yes,
I
very
know.
much so.
Yeah.
You can look at it
Which
that
is
way.
why I'm a little bit hesitant about Doomsday, but here's the thing. I'm going in with an
Same.
open mind because if Downey is willing to put his reputation, if Evans is willing to put his reputation on coming back, because like their characters are like they help craft them, right? So if it's enough for them to come back and not just a paycheck, because I feel like they have enough money, they don't need to come back for another Marvel thing. So
yeah, and
I'm
Robert
gonna
Downey
go with
Jr.
open
just won a
mind.
fucking Oscar. It's like you could have done
Yeah.
He doesn't
anything.
need
Instead, you're
Marvel.
like, I'll go back to Marvel.
But it apparently makes sense and couldn't be done without them. So, anyways, that being said, I'm going to raise the bid to 175.
Okay.
Yeah, speaking to to all of our theater experiences, yeah, I remember this one. My friends and I think we waited kind of last minute to get tickets, so we were sitting in the front row, like staring at it
Oh,
up
nice.
like this, which was, it was mostly about that theater experience and getting to see everyone react. And yeah, I agree. Like those reaction videos, they show up on your social media feed every once in a while, and it's just fun to watch. Like it was just such a communal experience, and like I'm saying with the idea that this was such a culmination, this was such a like successful project that they had been doing, like the idea that something was this popular but also like this good, like they landed the
Good.
plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rare to find something that is overlaps that well in so many different directions. So yeah, and I also think that it's mostly handled in the beginning of the movie, but the handling of the blip as like this earth-shattering cultural moment that like shook our society, and not for nothing, like a year before
It would-
COVID
it would
happened
totally
to all
do
of us, that
Kinda
like
wild.
it just was unintentionally, I guess, so completely relevant. The effects of that have played out through the movies afterwards and the through some of the TV series and stuff. And so yeah, I think that just the support group in the beginning and stuff. I just think that's like
Yeah.
I like that such a
The
giant
way-
movie like this. Yeah.
The way Scarlett Johansson is crying through her sandwich as she's talking to Cap, with the streaks in her hair and stuff, and they're just holding back so much. Yeah, that movie is,
Yeah.
yeah.
The fact that such a giant movie with so many balls in the air like takes some time to slow down and like actually like deal with the gravity of this situation is that's just a lesser movie wouldn't do that. So yeah, I think there are a lot of things in this that make it really special. So what was the last bid?
175.
175. I will bid 200 on America's ass, please. Thank you.
Great sequence. One of the funniest in the entire franchise for sure. I will go up to 215. I also want to take some time to shout out what they did with Hawkeye in this film, because at this point, Hawkeye really didn't have as much like to work with, I think, in these
He
films.
wasn't in Infinity War, right? Wasn't everyone
No,
kinda
he
like,
was
where's
he was in
Val?
hiding at this point.
Yeah,
he was at home and everything during this time. But the movie did open up with him. This movie opened up with him and showed what happened with his entire family being taken away. And it's like, Infinity War ended on a downer. Infinity War also opened up on a bit of a sad note too. We didn't bring that up, but this movie again, it's like, oh, it's gonna open up on a downer. And then I like how it transitions into the Dear Mr. Fantasy Neo drop where Tony and Nebula are up in space and everything before he gets rescued. Everything that they do with Hawkeye, I was really blown away by, and I've always liked Jeremy Renner as an actor, so it was really cool to see him have a bit of an emotional side to the character of Hawkeye. And after the unfortunate tragedy of Natasha Romanoff being killed, I really loved the sequence where the 5 of them are gathered together on that dock after the time travel heist or whatever, and Clint is so like scarred because of what happened, because he was willing to sacrifice himself to do what he needed to be done, but she had to do it because she felt that this guy has a family, we're going to try to get everyone back, and I don't have anybody in my life. And the sequence where she is screaming, or no, when he's screaming at Thor on that dock, where he's like, go grab your hammer and you find and talk to him, and you could just tell that he was holding so much back and he just let it out like a switch. That made it so heartbreaking. So I really loved everything that they did with Hawkeye in this film. I just wanted to take some time to shout that out because everyone pins him as like the worst Avenger or the Avenger that doesn't have anything to do. And maybe
only
he is.
Only uncultured people. I love Clint Barton.
I love Clint Barton.
Man.
I love him in the movies. I thought his show was very delightful too. So
I thought the show
I'm a
was
fan.
great.
Good Christmas entertainment.
It's excellent.
But yeah, 210 will be my next bid.
Okay, 210 for that one. I'm gonna go. I don't know if we're going in line. 215. I want this one.
I'll raise that to 250.
Okay, 250. 300. This is a big one. This is a very big one.
Getting close to my budget.
It might be the biggest one, to be honest.
301.
Did you bid, Steven? 301.
Yeah.
301.
I'll go 315.
325.
326.
330. Oh, whoa.
I went 50.
400.
330. 400.
Sorry, Veronica. You're
I'm
out.
priced out. My budget.
401.
405.
406.
Oh God, it's like the Pixar draft all over again, Veronica.
$1
he's doing the Larry strategy.
Yep.
$1, Bob.
This is the Larry maneuver.
410.
Oh, okay. Okay, 415.
420.
They could do this all day.
Damn.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna because I have one more in mind. 425.
430.
435.
440.
I gotta see what you actually have. Give me a second.
Right now, Brian
Oh,
has
Guardians
610 and
and
Steven has 625.
You said 440?
Yes.
441.
445.
God damn, bro. This is gonna
And
be
you're both
weird.
looking for your second pick. You still have 2 picks after
I
this.
know.
Yeah, I know. Don't tell them that, Veronica. It's looking really good for us for the rest of this.
True.
No, I fold. That's yours. You can have it. What was the last bid? 435? 485?
445.
I think I heard 610. Ryan used all the rest of his
No.
These are all his money.
445. Hey, 445. You can have that one.
Wow.
Dang.
So that leaves me remaining with $165. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with these 2 films. So I'm pretty
Great.
satisfied
Those are
with
great.
them.
Those are strong too. I'm scared about what
Yeah.
Steven's about to do back to back though. Here.
Oh, I get 2 back to
what
back.
direction
Huh?
are you going to go, Steven?
Okay, so my next one. Okay, let me mark it in game up. Okay, here's one, and this is part of the official MCU, a long anticipated movie. I had a great time with it, and I think audiences did too. I think we all had a good guffaw. It was a buddy movie. Uh,
Oh, I
I'm gonna
know where
go
you're
with
going.
Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm gonna go Deadpool and Wolverine, and I'm gonna start this bidding at $100.
Why did you have a good time with it?
What?
Why did
I
you have a
don't
good time with
understand.
it?
Explanatory.
Maybe my brain doesn't understand the question. Because
No, I
it's
want you to elaborate why
multiversal.
you're
It's
putting it on the
it's
board.
it's dude. It's the only time to put Hugh Jackman on the board, man. Also,
That's true.
like
Fair
you've
enough.
got Deadpool, which is a crowd favorite. I think this movie was a crowd favorite. I think that it gave us kind of a lot of things we wanted. Maybe it gave us too much. Maybe maybe there's some things that could be different, but as a whole, I think that this is a pretty freaking entertaining movie, and I had a great time. I think that the banter was good. I think that it was just a good time.
So
Like,
$100.
yeah, $100.
This is our first nomination from the Multiverse Saga, the only one since the Infinity Saga ended. I'm not going to bid on it. I was kind of agnostic on this movie. I was kind of like, I enjoyed a lot of the jokes. I enjoyed a lot of the references. I almost wish it leaned maybe more into that and didn't even try to get kind of earnest at the end there. Like, I don't know if they had gone even more ridiculous with it. Maybe I would have probably preferred that. But there is such a great dynamic between Deadpool and Wolverine. So I think it was super entertaining in the moment. I kind of like left my brain after I saw it, but I can understand the love for it.
This
I
is
like
one that has
I liked Hugh Jackman in this. Sorry, Sasha.
no.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. No, you're on a roll.
I liked Hugh Jackman in this. I did enjoy seeing him back in the role, although I stand by Logan being a perfect swan song for that character, and I do think that should have been the last time that we saw him as the character. But I do like how they honored Logan. They paid respects to Logan in Deadpool and Wolverine because I was worried how they were going to handle that angle. I do agree that he and Ryan Reynolds have great back and forth with one another. They are great together. And I do kind of agree with Veronica if it leaned a bit more into the comedy, I probably would have dug it a bit more. And it was cool seeing an MCU movie that was rated R. It was awesome that we got that, and I do think
Yeah.
that unfortunately this is probably going to be the only time we get that, unless we get another Deadpool-led movie. But yeah, I was pretty lukewarm on this movie, kind of similar to Veronica. There were elements of it that I enjoyed, but overall, I was just like, I think I'm just a little worn out by the Deadpool character and everything. I do really like that first Deadpool a lot. I stand by that being a really terrific movie, and I enjoyed parts
Yeah.
of the second one, but yeah, this one just didn't do a ton for me, admittedly, but there were moments in it that I certainly enjoyed. I liked the Greatest Showman joke. I did enjoy that. But as someone who is a proud hater of that movie, I did enjoy the joke surrounding that movie. But um, yeah, I'm not going to partake in this bid. So I did a podcast years ago with Sasha about Deadpool and Wolverine. So, and I remember Sasha was a fan of it. I wonder if that still stays true. How long has it been? 2 years since the movie came out.
Yeah, I did really like this movie at the time. I was a big I love Deadpool 2. Like I do really love this movie. And as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm like, we have Channing Tatum as Gambit, which is potentially one of the funniest things that has happened in cinema in the last 10 years. I will stand on. Like I just love that choice. You have the extra bone joke watching Gossip Girl. You have Like a Prayer at the end of the movie. I can't let Steven get away with this for just $100. Is that what we're at, Steven?
That's where we're at. Yeah, $100.
Yeah, okay, I gotta go 125.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I think that's valid, even though I get why you guys don't like it. It's not your thing. I would contest though. I don't know if the sincerity is really the issue because there's so much Deadpool and so much irreverence that I think that leaning into too much of that would have been exhausting without the
Yeah.
straight man, like without the groundedness of it getting sincere. And whether or not you like what it's sincere about, that's kind of up to each person. But I think that there was enough gravity there to make it not so just slapstick, because it could be slapstick. But like, I think the reason why Deadpool 1 worked so well is because you had like they threw in the fact that like you feel the dread of having what I can only imagine of getting a diagnosis, like a terminal diagnosis with someone that you love, and you're kind of going through that emotional moment that makes him make these choices. You have like his love like being shot and killed, and that's the kickoff for the second one where like he's willing to like commit suicide because he has nothing else to live for and he can't figure out how to kill himself, right? And then you get into this one and now he's trying to save his people again with somebody who failed at saving theirs. And so it's just a fun, like while they hate each other, it's fun to know that off screen they're friends, but on screen they're at each other's throats, and that was just a fun ride. You know, there's a lot of things we could talk about that was fun about that movie that might be fan service. Like I get that there's a lot of like winking to the fans and giving people what they want with casting or whatever, but at the end of the day, I think it was pretty rad. I think I'm going to go with 125. I think I want this one.
I liked the
Yeah.
inclusion of Matthew McFadden in here. As a big fan of Pride and
Yes.
Prejudice and Succession, it was really fun to see him in a role like this.
And he killed it, man. He was so funny.
really
Every
did.
single second he was on screen, he was so good. Like
Yeah, if you're going to cast someone to play Mr. Paradox, that's a good casting for sure. Very against Type 2. Again, very different from the two projects that I just mentioned and everything.
So that's my.
And
so that's
you're
my-
right. You're right, Stephen. That the bleakness is like in line with the tone of the other Deadpool movies and everything. I just kind of also remember kind of thinking I wish it was like maybe just a little shorter, maybe a little condensed. Like if this was like a lean, mean 90-minute movie or something, I think it would have been like way more effective. But yeah, to your point, like it's he can be an exhausting character.
There's a lot
so,
in it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do kind of try to cram a lot. But I do also, doesn't Jennifer Gardner make a joke like at Ben Affleck's expense at
Yes.
some point?
I can't remember what it is, but she
I remember that
does.
being a
And
highlight.
I think someone made a joke at Hugh Jackman too, because he had just gone through a divorce at this point, or I think he was in the midst of separating from his wife at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah,
Which
it gets
that
a little
did kind of make me laugh
meta.
because I wasn't expecting them to do that.
Yeah.
It's crazy that
And
him
then just
Deb
poking-
divorced. Anyways,
I
sorry.
know.
Yeah.
Just poking fun at the like studio hijinks of like who owns what character and like
Yeah.
like that is all. I think that again, it's like it's funny. It's funny that they put that in there and everything. I think it's also hard to like do that and have like a genuine story at the same time. But you know, it plays in the moment at least.
Yeah. It could be shorter. That I give you.
And it's also important to point out that this is not Sean Levy's best movie. His best movie will forever and always be Big Fat Liar.
Cool. So is it mine
I
for
love how much you love
125?
that movie. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you, Steven. I just kind of wanted to get you. I wanted to get more of your money out of
You want to
it.
give me more of my money? Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay.
I was doing some
Yeah.
math. And I was like, all right.
Right. All right. I have another one. Do I double up, right? Because we're going backwards.
Yep.
Okay. So here's another one. I had an absolute blast, and this movie will absolutely it'll reel you in the first few minutes, and then like it feels like it never stops, and it was refreshing. I thought it was culturally impactful, and I just had a blast. I laughed my way through it as well. There was a lot of heart and soul in this one. I'm gonna go ahead and nominate Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna
How
start
much
at
for,
200.
Steven?
200.
Ooh, yeah.
So
I gotta go.
I can't participate in this, unfortunately.
Why?
Why not?
I'm
Priced
out,
out.
I'm out of money. He just bid it for 200.
Oh,
Oh wait, hang on. You know what? Let's make it interesting. I take it back. At once, $100. We're gonna start the bidding at $100.
We can't go backwards. That's never happened.
come
before.
on.
Well, do you want to? I mean,
Let him
let's
do
let's
it.
play the game. Let's play the
All
game.
right, fine. All right, fine.
'Cause who wants
There's
it?
no way. Someone go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I'll up it to 110 so we can play a little bit here. I love this movie. I think this is one of the most, and I think timing is kind of unfortunate for a couple of the first projects that come out right after Endgame. Shang-Chi is potentially, outside of like Iron Man, one of the strongest origin story films that we have.
Agreed.
I, again, as an Iron Man 3 lover, mentioning the Mandarin, the 10 rings, and bringing all of that stuff back was, to me, like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do post Endgame, is all this lore and all the little Easter eggs and the stuff you left and maybe didn't do right. Let's do it properly. I also just think Simu Liu is such a talent, and he is so incredible in this movie. Once again, also, the soundtrack for this movie did not get as much love as the soundtrack for Black Panther, but it is, I think, almost up there. Like, so many great songs that fit so well in the film, and also just, I just love this movie, and I'm so excited to see him return in Doomsday, because the fact that he has not returned since has pissed me off since this movie came out. So I'll do 110.
I follow him on Threads, and he talks a lot about like him not being up yet, or not talking about Shang-Chi, or he's like, hang on, just hang on, he's coming. So yeah, he's feeling it the same way we are.
Yeah.
I will go up to 120 with this. This film is fantastic. This was a humongous surprise for me. I went into the movie being like, I'm sure it'll be fine. It looks cool. But I remember at that point, I saw this trailer in front of every fucking movie I was watching, and I'm like, just give me the fucking movie already, so I don't have to see that trailer anymore, with the song playing and then the bus fight and then it ending with, you got this, thank you. I'm like, I'm tired of seeing this trailer in front of every fucking movie. But the movie delivered sincerely for me. I really loved how, Sasha, you brought up that this is one of the stronger origin movies in the MCU. I completely agree. We are introduced to this character. We don't know anything about him, and I loved his story. And Simu Liu is so good as this character. He's awesome in this.
Yes.
He's wonderful. He adds a lot of charm. He's badass. He's funny. He's honorable. A very multi-layer performance. I think, though, the secret MVP is Tony Leung as does he play his father? Is that who he plays? A phenomenal performance. One of our great working actors just in general, but to like see the guy who was in like In the Mood for Love in a Marvel movie as the antagonist, essentially, just love that very much. And I also think that this movie, at this point in the MCU, and I think Veronica brought up that there was a period where the MCU kind of started finding its footing with like kind of having the same tone, being like a bit more comedic and everything. And this movie definitely has a good amount of comedy, and Awkwafina is essentially the comic relief at this. And this is one of those times where the comedy didn't really bother me when watching the movie, which I really appreciate. The third act kind of unfortunately deteriorates the movie a smidge for me when it becomes this gigantic action spectacle, and I didn't really find myself as compelled by that as I was by the first two acts of this movie, where we were learning the story and the exploration, and I loved the representation of Asian culture here, and Destin Daniel Cren's direction was really good. He's the guy that obviously is now doing Brand New Day and everything, so I'm really excited to see the difference in style of him directing the Shang-Chi movie and then going into a Spider-Man movie. But yeah, I think that this is probably my favorite MCU movie of the 2020s so far. I would say that I would say that of this decade so far, this is the strongest that the MCU has put out, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going to go 120 for this. Veronica, I don't know if you're going to partake in bidding, but what's your take on Shang-Chi? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I will not bid. I think I need to save up my money a little bit, but totally agree with everything that you all said. I think this is really fun. I think that Simu Liu gives a really great performance, a great origin story. Awkwafina is an acquired taste, but I think she works very well here. I think she's like
Completely agree.
Yeah, really good, like, comedic relief sidekick. Michelle Yeoh, a legend, is going off here. Yeah, definitely agree that the third act is the weakest part. It, devolves into a giant, sky fight, which a lot of these movies do. Like, that is not at all unique to this one. But it has a lot of style up until then. Yeah, the bus fight, the, like, scaffolding fight.
The bus fight is fucking awesome.
It's crazy.
The choreography.
And that's, like, within the first few minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, are we peaking early on in the movie? Like, I remember I leaned back in my seat, and I was like, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. That was so fucking badass. If I was 10 years old watching this movie, this probably would have ended up being like my favorite movie ever made.
That villain was
I can see
also
that, yeah,
very
if it
similar to...
is something that imprints on you, for sure. And
Yeah,
I like Dustin Daniel Cretton a lot too. He also did Wonder Man, the series this year that I was a big fan
that
of.
was awesome.
Yeah.
I really like Wonder Man.
Yeah, so I think that I'm excited to see like him operating within the MCU. I think he's managed to be successful where other directors are not.
And
This
to
is
think
also
he
another
came from
project
like
where I
an
think
indie background too, like the fact that he made like Short Term 12, and then he made a few other small titles before going into the MCU. I think he's had a very fascinating trajectory because Marvel tends to pluck these very smaller independent filmmakers, and sometimes they deliver really great work, other times not so much. I think he's one of the shining examples of how he went from super small to very big very seamlessly.
yeah, and I think that this is another example of a villain that you can kind of really understand, very similar to Thanos, of like he has a lot of empathy and a lot of like care for his children. Also, he wants to find his wife. Also, he's just a little bit batshit crazy about it, and that drives him to go over the top. And that's the fun. That's like where like the dynamic it gets complicated. You know, he's not all bad or they're not all good. It's another, I think, complicated villain that is really fun to watch because you go from he's this conqueror, but he fell in love, and he had kids, and now he's back on top doing the gangster thing. But he wants to be softer, but his wife's gone. There's just, I think it has layers to it. I really like it.
What was the last bid? Was it
I'm
me?
trying to
120?
remember.
Yeah,
I think
120.
it was me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 175. No, hold on. You're at 165. I'm gonna bid you out. I'm gonna go 175.
Understood. Understood.
I'll go 200.
210.
215.
220.
Okay, I'll let you have it.
Wow.
All right, 220. All right, 220 it is. All right, we'll see.
I feel like Steven is building like a kind of a deep cut list while also being like a very excellent list. And I'm really appreciating the
We'll
strategy.
see. Maybe nobody will choose any of them, and it'll be the worst combination in history.
I think they all have fans.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not
Well,
too far out now.
Well, I have only $165 remaining. So, I don't know. I have to pick my battles very wisely. I probably won't end up getting this film, but we'll see what happens. So, we're going from one 2021 movie to another 2021 movie. I'm going to put Spider-Man No Way Home on the table. You know, I don't quite know my relationship with this movie. I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about this exactly. But, this was, a huge gamble of a movie. This was a movie that everybody was anticipating. Obviously, following what happened at the end of Far From Home with Peter Parker's identity being revealed to the world that he's Spider-Man. And, kind of being the tail end of his coming of age and everything, and him figuring out himself and getting ready to go to college. And then this is where the multiverse story really comes into play further. And then we get all these previous characters coming back. Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin, Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, Jamie Foxx as Electro. And then, of course, we get our two Spideys back on the big screen, which, you could say what you want about this movie. I will never forget, watching this in the theater. And it was unfortunate that there was a lot of, hype building up around this and speculation. People like, oh, they're going to be in the movie and everything. And I kind of wish that there wasn't. I really wish that, we could have just watched the movie and didn't expect any of them to come onto screen. But I do really enjoy the movie overall. I will say over the last it's been 5 years since this came out. Over the last 5 years, when I did this podcast that Sasha brought up when we were talking about Homecoming kind of grew for me as opposed to like No Way Home grown for me. I still think it's great on its own, but for some reason I really connect a lot more with Homecoming as opposed to this. But I think the action set pieces are great. There's a lot of suspense throughout. The whole sequence in the apartment is very jaw-dropping and super well done. And I loved knowing that Willem Dafoe, being the old wacko fuck that he is, said, I want to do my own stunts. I commend him so much for doing that. They could have just said, oh, Willem, you're old and everything. We're going to hire someone else. And then he's like, I want to do it myself. So I really appreciate him doing that. And
The mask made him do it.
I think that the inclusion of the previous characters was handled very, very well. Again, a lot of great comedy here, a lot of great drama, a lot of great heart. Shout out to my queen, everyone's favorite, Aunt May, Marissa Tomei. Love her very much.
Yeah.
Just adore her to the moon and back. And yeah, the third act of this movie is so good. It's so fantastic, and it culminates in a very emotional note, a very beautiful note, very poignant. And the dynamic between Tom, Toby, and Andrew was so wonderfully handled. And I appreciate that they weren't just there as a cameo. They actually served some purpose to the story. I mean, they were in the movie for like the last 45, 50 minutes, and they had a sense of purpose, and I thought it was great seeing them back. They jumped back into their roles, and I liked learning where they were at those particular stages of their lives and everything. And the brotherhood between the three of them, too, was really beautiful to see, and I love the fact that they formed this strong bond outside of the movie as well. So, yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home is great. It's very good. I'm going to start the bid. God, see, this is crazy that I'm going to put it this low, but I'm going to start the bid at $50.
I can't partake in this one once again, but listen, I'm seeing how maybe strategy-wise I could come back and do this maybe a little better next time, but I echo a lot of what you said, Brian. Like, this movie, I think, pays off so well because of the things they held back from in Homecoming. Not using up an Uncle Ben storyline allows Aunt May dying in this film to feel like Peter Parker is now a man, and like he has to now deal with this massive loss as a culmination of a 3-film arc rather than what kicks it off. And I think those are some of the choices where it feels so brilliant, and for a movie that is so much nostalgia and bringing people back, it functions so well, and I think is such a testament to, like, if Marvel has the right writers and creatives in the room, they do know how to take something from being like a fun cameo fan moment to being like a plot device that actually works extremely well. Yeah, I love this movie, but yeah, $0 to add.
This was such an anticipated movie for me. I was so excited for this one. This is where this is why I'm approaching Doomsday the way that I am, and why I approached a lot of the, like, I like to go into a lot of these projects without me thinking of different theories and different this and different that, because you're inevitably going to be disappointed because of something you wanted to have happen or something that didn't happen that you thought would be cool. So to avoid that in myself again, I'll get down rabbit holes, man. I'll lose my mind with some of these. And so I like to go in now just accepting of what they're going to make. But man, like, did Spider-Man No Way Home deliver, dude? Like, that I thought was a great, great film. And showed the camaraderie between Spider-Mans, and how appropriate is, like, the whole mission of that movie was, like, it's so Spider-Man. He didn't want to just send them back to their timelines where they would die. He wanted to save each one of them. So they came together to figure out how to save each individual villain so that they could go back safely. And that's like such just a Spider-Man looking out, just like a good guy, and I think that's why we love Spider-Man so much, is because he's so thoughtful in those ways. And so I think that's like, I could say a lot about this movie, but I had a great time with it. I think I'm going to raise it to $75. It's my bid.
I'll bring it up to 100. I think that, Brian, I get what you were saying. I definitely agree that, like, this one doesn't necessarily rise in estimation for me because so much of the highs of it were it's kind of the shock value of, like, I can't believe they got all three Spider-Men together and all of the villains and the surprise, not just that it happened, but that they managed to that didn't overpower the movie. Like they managed to build a really great movie underneath it as well. So yeah, the way that they're the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, like they're integrated into the action of the story. Like it's not just a glorified cameo or anything. And things like the moment when Andrew Garfield gets to save Zendaya, and it's like this, that's
Yes.
like the highlight of the movie for me, where you get that moment where again I
And
don't
the
particularly
tears flowing down Andrew Garfield, like that's one of my boys,
Yeah.
and just seeing him cry makes me cry too, and just oh my god.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
I don't even have a particular affinity for the Andrew Garfield movies, but I know that moment and like just the idea of like almost being able to correct history in that way. Like that's an example
He's
of like
so
powerful.
good as that character, though. It's really unfortunate that the movies that he was leading didn't do justice to what he was able to bring as
Yeah.
that character. But like for him to have that comeback essentially and to give him something to where people now want him to play Spider-Man again. I mean, would I watch him as Spider-Man again? Sure. Am I in need for him to play Spider-Man again? No, I just want him to make more movies where he sings songs that are written by Jonathan Larson, quite frankly. But
Yeah, it's an example of multiverse storytelling done completely right. Like it's actually playing with the idea of
100%.
what if this moment went slightly differently for this person. Like the impact of that is really felt. So yeah, I'll raise this up to 100.
I also have to bring up Tick Tick Boom because Sasha has a poster behind her of the movie.
I do.
So that's why I have to bring it up.
Boom.
Very cool,
Represent
very
I just-
cool.
I just
one of
love
the
Andrew
best movies of that
Garfield.
year. Good year
Yeah,
for
right,
Andy
absolutely.
Garfield.
Yeah.
$100. I'll go 110.
God, I gotta go 115.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go 130. We're getting close to Brian's ceiling.
God. What was the last bid? 130?
Yeah.
135.
140.
150. I would like a Spider-Man on my list. So
Me too. I'm fighting for it. 155.
Fuck it. Okay, I'm out. I can't go any higher.
175.
176.
I have more money than you. I could outbid you, but I would not like to spend that much. So 200.
215.
Okay, you're getting close. 230.
Here's the thing. I need one more to finish out my list. I
I
can go all the way up
know.
to 280. I'm gonna go
And I need
280.
to.
Going all in at
Just
280.
maxing out.
Yep.
And then what would I have? I'd have a little less than 100. 281. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. She got it.
Is that the first one that somebody else has gone after the original person's
Maybe,
code?
yeah.
And of course, it was stolen by Veronica, stealing from me. Of course, this was bound to happen.
That,
she's
that
such a
was
big
a
MCU
worthy. Yeah.
This was
She-
bound.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I haven't done our bits even.
I know. Neither have I. Neither have I. It's okay. We have plenty of
Oh
time.
my god.
Okay, that was a good fight, though.
It's like- that was good, yes.
God
well,
damn it.
well fought, gentlemen.
All right.
Okay.
What's next?
And I get to nominate next, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So,
I know what you're gonna say.
let's see. Yeah, I'm between two of them. I think I'm gonna go. I'll go for one of them. I'll still have another nomination on the back end if the other one doesn't get picked. So, I'm gonna go ahead and throw out. I'm surprised it lasted this long. Captain America: Civil War. How about that one? And since I'm low on funds here, we're gonna call it $10.
I can't bid on
Ten.
that one. I can't bid.
Oh.
Well,
Yep,
Sasha
you got
and
Captain
I
America
can.
already. Yep.
Um,
$10.
$10. I'll go $25.
That's a good one.
I've drafted this film before on the pod. I think it was our first draft, Veronica, when we did the 2016 draft. I think I put this on my team.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Civil War. Admittedly, Winter Soldier is far superior, admittedly. But Civil War, you call it what it is. It's Avengers 2.5. That's literally what this movie is. It really should be called Avengers Civil
Oh, well
War.
done.
But again, another movie, and I think Steven brought this up with some of the movies that we've talked about. So much hype surrounding this. The way that it was marketed and campaigned, the whole Team Cap versus Team Iron Man was such a
Yeah.
moment. This came out during my senior year of high school, and I remember that the week leading up to this, there was this teacher that would always go around like asking people questions like, "Oh, who's going to win the Super Bowl or who's going to win the World Series, Team Cap or Team Iron Man?" And I remember watching the video after it was edited, and like so many people, there was like equal amount of answers for both because no one knew like who to vote for and everything. Um, Let me ask everyone before I continue. Team Cap or Team Iron Man? I was Team Cap back at the day.
I'm a Team Cap to this day.
Team Iron Man.
Steven?
Man, I've just always had a soft spot in my heart for Cap.
There we
You
go.
know,
Sorry, Veronica.
Iron Man is such a baller, but man, Cap is like top tier.
Also, just like Team Cap's got Scarlet Witch. We got Falcon. I've already expressed my love for Hawkeye.
We got
like,
my boy Ant-Man.
we got my boy Ant-Man, right? So it's
Thanks
like
for thinking of me. Come on. Like,
I
anytime-
remember
unfortunately,
trying to get the
Veronica, every time a
entertainment-
team has Paul Rudd, I have to go with that team.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I remember trying to get the Entertainment Weekly like Team Cap cover. I have it somewhere. Like,
Oh
because
my
I
god!
was like,
I
have to
remember.
get
I
this
remember
thing.
that being the big thing. I remember trying to get that as well. Oh my
Also,
god!
the
I can't believe
introduction
that
of Black Panther,
introduction
Yeah,
to Black Panther
and Spider-Man.
and Spider-Man.
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 I can't believe
The
that
Roots.
movie came out 10 years ago. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's insane.
I
that it-
know.
Oh, yeah, it's very good. Again, like I like the blend of comedy and drama. I love the final battle between Cap and Iron Man and Bucky being involved, and then the whole revelation of Bucky, being the person who killed Tony's parents, and then just seeing that single tear going down Robert Downey Jr.'s eye, that really hurt truly. Because again, when we see Tony Stark in a vulnerable state, which is not something that we would commonly see throughout the MCU, those were the moments that I was so impressed by when it came to Downey's acting. Of course, he excelled in the comedic side, but like when we saw the more vulnerable, terrified side of Tony Stark, that really wowed me so much because then it showcased that he's more than the guy that throws all these quips and jokes and everything. Like there's a bit of emotion to him, and I really commend that. So, yeah, it's a very good film. I do think that it pales in comparison, unfortunately, to Winter Soldier, but there's so much to love about this movie, though. So, yeah, $25 would be my next bid. Sasha?
Yeah, I got to go up to 50. I mean, I love this movie so much. One of my favorite moments in this movie is this feels like a movie where you have like all your pieces of the puzzle and you really get to play with all of them. And there's a scene where like Cap and Tony are obviously arguing about the Sokovia Accords, and Tony shows up and Steve says something like, or Tony says something like, "Oh, Pepper's on the phone," and Steve is like thinks that they're having a baby, and then he tells her that like they've broken up like temporarily, and it's just one of those moments where it's like, again, if you're a lover of the characters, this movie like aesthetically might not be like, it's not what Winter Soldier is, but the core of all the characters that you're tapping into in this movie, you get a lot of WandaVision stuff here. It's just like such good fan fodder, and I love this movie. So we have $50.
Steven, I know that you can't partake in this bid since you already have a Captain America movie on your team, but what's your stance on Civil War?
Oh man, this is another one. This is another one that goes hard, man. Think of just the sequence between the Falcon, the Winter Soldier, and Spider-Man. Just think of all of that happens. Like that's just so fun, and it's one little tiny section of what makes this movie so great. And you really do understand everyone's motivation. It's, once again, you really get where Tony's coming from. You really get where Cap's coming from. And is there a right or wrong reason? You got to be able to come together and figure it out, and that's the whole point of the movie. So I thought that was awesome, the way that they culminated like that, the way that it did. Also, the quintessential picture of the two of them, like him blasting the shield and Cap holding it. That's like a comic book cover moment that they created, which was awesome. And then like how the two, I just think of little sequences like they're going back to back with the Bucky and Cap like beating the crap out of Iron Man, and he's kind of holding his own.
I thought that man was gonna die.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna like put an arm through his chest or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was my friend, and so was
Oh,
I.
yep.
Like,
Yes,
Oh,
bro. Oh
I
my
was just about to
god.
bring it up because on our most recent draft, this film was on the board, and I think Veronica, you're the one who brought up that line and
that's like
everything.
the line of the movie
The
Yeah.
V line.
almost the MCU, pretty much. But yeah. What was the last bid? 50?
Yes.
yeah.
I'll go 75.
And I want to bring up some of the comedy here and how it works. Like, really, the stuff with Ant-Man, just him coming out and being like, "Thanks for thinking of me," and then him like touching Cap's
I know, it's
muscles. I mean,
awesome.
that's what anyone would do when they see Chris Evans in person. Like, they would just like grab the arms, being
Exactly.
like, "Oh, it's real." And then what's the line he says out? Oh, does anyone have any orange slices? It's so
There's
good.
that. You've also got Tom Holland running around the whole time being like, "Hey, have you seen like or heard of this old movie?" And it's like Empire Strikes Back, and it's like something that's not even really that old, but to him, because he's like the first Gen Z of these
Oh.
superheroes, is just like
I love
cracking one-liners.
I love him constantly bringing up movies and everything. Like in Infinity War, the sequence with him and Doctor Strange and Iron Man on the ship and everything. He's like, I do not want another single pop culture reference out of you for the remainder of this trip.
Yeah.
It's so good. And then Bucky and Falcon, like this was their introduction of their dynamic and everything. And I like the sequence where Steve is kissing Peggy Carter's niece, and they're just smiling and nodding in the car. I love that moment so much. Great moments. 75, that was the last bid.
Yep.
I'll go 85.
I'll go 100.
I will go 105.
115.
Ooh.
So it's between me and
priced out.
Sasha.
I'm gonna go 119. Sorry. No, 120. Sorry.
125.
130.
Close.
All right, this is yours.
Yeah.
Good get.
Oh,
Amazing.
man.
I'm
All
very
right.
happy about that.
Captain America Civil War for 130.
Now we all need one more on our team, except Brian needs 2.
I need 2.
And we all have kind of the same amount of money, roughly, within $100
Yeah,
or so.
roughly.
So, yeah, now it's Sasha's turn.
Oh, are you serious? Wait, this is so amazing. Okay. Wait, sorry guys. I'm just
She was
like,
just
wait,
caught up
well,
in the
who's
fact that
next?
she has an
I
Avengers movie, a
was.
Captain America movie, a
I'm feeling pretty
Spider-Man
good
movie.
now. Feeling pretty good. Okay. This is another movie that I think may not be my favorite today, but I think generally is once again a fresh direction for the MCU, a movie that brought in a director that really shook things up and changed things, and I think for a lot of the fan base is kind of like the definitive Thor movie, and that is Thor Ragnarok. I am a big Taika Waititi fan. Love and Thunder, we don't necessarily need to talk about right now, but Thor Ragnarok, I have so much fun with. I think it brings in a lot of the Aussie humor that I think makes this film really unique and fun. And it's not edgy in a Deadpool way, but it's not like snarky the way like a Joss Whedon written Avengers is. I think it also really elevates Thor to this feeling of a god level because the first 2 Thor films are very, although I love them dearly, very Shakespearean kind of in a very Kenneth Branagh approach, versus when you get to this, we're having just a crazy good time. You also introduce Tessa Thompson. You have Jeff Goldblum in this film. Like, also just I love so much of the Loki stuff. Like, we're not doing get help and then they do get help. Like, you get a lot of Loki Thor moments, which I personally I'm a huge Loki fan.
I have been falling for 30 minutes.
I just love this movie. I also think that Mark Ruffalo as like a hulking out Bruce Banner who's just kind of lost on this alien planet is like so much fun. Friend from work is like one of my favorite lines, and it also explains where Hulk and Thor are for the events of Civil War. And there was so much fun lead up to this. If you're a fan of like the Marvel one shots or like some of the stuff they were doing on YouTube, I'm trying to remember what they called. I don't think it was called Team Thor. Maybe it was, but it was about
Yeah,
like
I believe that's what it was
Thor's
called.
team, and just so funny, so much humor. It gives Thor like a sick look, like super hot Thor in this movie. Like, so yeah, I'm gonna start the bidding. Let's start at 50.
I will raise it to 75. I admittedly am a bit hot and cold on Taika Waititi, but I do think that this is a high for him, certainly. I love the different direction that they took Thor because, like you said, Sasha, the first two films were very Shakespearean with the way that they were handled and everything. I do think that the first Thor is very underrated, very underappreciated. The second one, well, it exists. But this one, I think, is a very, very good return to form for the character. And, this was, after Age of Ultron, a lot of people were like, oh, what are they going to do with all these characters following that? When we obviously got everything with Cap and Iron Man and Civil War. And now we're getting to see what happened with Thor as well as Hulk after that. And I really like how, this movie embraces the silliness and goes for broke and kind of pays homage to the silly cheesy visual effects heavy movies from the 80s and 90s, something like Big Trouble in Little China I thought was really cool. And I liked how it was also a bit of a buddy comedy with everything with Thor and Bruce Banner. You brought up the additions to the cast. You brought up Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie, who we love. Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster, who we love. My queen, Kate Blanchett as Hela.
Yes. I can't believe I forgot to mention Hela.
Camping it up.
Kate is the best at what she does, and she is so fucking sick in this role. She is so, so good. I also think that Carl Urban doesn't get a lot of mention with his performance here. I think he's a very fun addition to this cast as well. And, we also, fittingly enough, get the incredible cameos of the actors reliving the roles of Thor, one of them being Luke Hemsworth, who is fittingly enough the brother of Chris, playing Thor, Matt Damon playing Loki, which is a perfect choice, and then the late great Sam Neill, who we just lost, playing Odin. I love that sequence so much. I almost said this to Veronica because time of recording, we just recorded our Odyssey review. And I almost brought up of how one of my favorite Matt Damon performances is when he plays Loki in Thor Ragnarok. I love him in that role, even though he's in it for 2 seconds. Yeah, I really think that this movie is great. And there's a lot of great comedy. I think that this is absolutely one of the funniest MCU films where the comedy really excels the material. But then there's also these very thrilling sequences where it's like, oh, Taika Waititi, again, a filmmaker who literally came from indie obscurity to direct this big budget blockbuster. I thought he made the transition very, very strongly. It's unfortunate that the Thor movie he made after that was, not exactly the best.
It's still fun.
To a degree. It has its moments for sure. It has Christian Bale in it.
It has Christian Bale, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Ragnarok is very, very good. And I love the sequence where he's going through the tunnel, and then they play the Willy Wonka music underneath, and then he screams from the top of his lungs, and it just hard cuts to him outside of it. Love it. So what was the last bit? What did I put on it?
I think 75.
Yeah, I was waxing poetic about Thor Ragnarok. I lost track of how much I bid it for. Yeah, 75. Are you going to raise the bid, Sasha?
Oh, yeah. I got 90.
100.
I'll go to, okay. You're probably going to outbid me, but I'll go 105 for this one. Before I nominated Civil War, I was deciding between that and this because I also really love this one, and it's popular and beloved as well.
I think Steven said 110.
120.
Oh, fuck.
I'm out.
130.
150.
155.
Go ahead, Steven. 155.
160.
Yeah, I can't bid anymore.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't.
Broke, Bryan. Go for broke. Put it all on the line for Thor Ragnarok.
165.
Get something for scraps. I gotta go 170.
Oh, we could have just let him have it.
I know. I kind of was thinking about it, but I'm like, I'll be pretty happy with myself if I can pick this one up.
I would have
175.
found a perfectly fine movie to get for $5 or $1 or whatever.
Okay,
But
I'm gonna go. I'm
okay,
gonna go
well,
180.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna give everything 189, Steven.
Oh, you're going all in on this one.
I'm gonna go
Balls
You're
all
deep.
going
Come on,
in.
all in on
Steven.
this one. I have to go 190. I
Damn
have to go
it, man.
190.
Way.
oh
Oh,
I want it. I want it.
dang. That's
Nice.
wow.
brutal.
Steven's
Okay,
Leaving
team
all right.
100
complete.
or 90 on the table to get it. Dang.
Yeah. Yep. Sheesh. Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Gosh.
Steven has
That's
filled up his
okay.
team.
I respect
Sasha,
it.
Sasha, you still get your other pick. If you had finished your team now, you would have.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I allocate the rest of my funds to help somebody else win a bid potentially?
Unfortunately, that is not allowed here.
Okay. All right.
It's
All
just
This isn't
bragging
Who Wants to
rights,
Be a
how much you end up
Millionaire.
with.
Dang, a great question, Steven.
Just thought I would ask.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm tapped out now.
Okay.
Now I just get to watch.
Now you get the vibe. What do you think of Thor Ragnarok, Steven? Like, what's your stance on it?
I, I I go through phases of loving it and then feeling it like it's too much, and then loving it and feeling like it's too much. I don't know why, but Taika Waititi never fails. It's always a good time. It's always really funny. Maybe I had a tough time dealing with like a silly Thor, and I liked more of a stoic Thor, but that's been kind of like eradicated now in my psyche because of how much we've seen Thor over the last few movies. So, but I think that was the first time that I was like, man, I don't love that as much, I guess. But like Thor versus Hulk was super sick. Jeff Goldblum, always a pleasure. Like there's just so many good parts about that movie and like I just loved it. I thought it was great. And sometimes I look at it and I'm like, oh, it's just a bit too much. Give me like OG Thor, you know? Sometimes I just want that movie on. But this one was great, and I thought it was more entertaining than Love and Thunder. Even though I loved Christian Bale in that, I think we needed 15 or 20 more minutes of Christian Bale. That would have been a great movie.
Yeah, that movie didn't give us enough of Christian
That's fair.
Bale. All right, Sasha,
But I
what
like it.
film are you going to
Interesting.
try to put on the board now?
Okay. I'm of several different minds here, but I think I have made up the one choice that I feel like I really need to send this list home. And that is going to be Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I
Ooh.
am not the biggest fan of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. To be fair, the Doctor Strange films I have not seen that many times. I'm much more of like a grounded MCU fan at my core, but I think that Multiverse of Madness, specifically when through the lens of like a Wanda film and a follow-up to WandaVision, is kind of the basis for like why I'm going to go for this as my last pick. I'm going to start the bidding at $50, but I think that Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch is
Awesome.
such like we don't have enough of it, which is just crazy to me, and I fear she may never do one of these movies again. But she's so incredible, and in this movie she is so threatening and scary and
Yes.
creepy. I think Sam Raimi's horror elements here are so fun, especially when she's attacking I don't know why I cannot think of the place where they're hiding in this film, but like when she sneaks in and is like kind of crawling and snapping her back and stuff, like it's so good. And I think the core of like a Doctor Strange who is lost like the love of his life and is still trying to like hang on to her a little bit, trying to protect this multiverse, and kind of things are spiraling out of his control. Also getting to see John Krasinski at least once as Mr. Fantastic
We got
felt
it.
like a
Yep.
pinch me I know we got it, and it's there and it's cemented. And
Right.
for there to be a return of the X-Men in this movie for the first time ever feels very
Yeah.
like whoa. Also the Deadbolt mention, like that whole kind of little panel that is going on in that alternate universe. Again, I have probably only seen this film maybe 1.5 times.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be my pick.
Oh, it's so good. That's an honorable mention. I had a great time with that movie when it came out. Like whether people might talk about things being over CGI'd or things look a little this or that. But at the end of
Sure.
the day, it's magic. You know what you're getting yourself in for. Shut up about that.
Right.
Like
You're
it's
not
all
there
fake,
for
dude.
realism.
No, and I thought it was a really fun time. I had a great time with that one. And like Wanda
I
going
was
crazy on
okay.
everyone.
Yeah. Just killing them all
Yes.
in pursuit of her two children. Like, that's just such an insane core to have as a
Motherhood.
hero turned villain. Yeah. Literal mother. Support women's rights and women's wrongs,
And
specifically
women's
Wonder Woman.
wrongs.
Yes.
I have not rewatched it since it came out, but I seeing it at the time, I was a little disappointed in it. I kind of was very intrigued by the idea of Sam Raimi taking on something in the MCU, and he got to like I think tinker around the edges and add some of his horror touches and stuff. I kind of wish they had gone a little more full throated with that. It does still kind of have to fit that MCU house style. And then you guys are right to call out like the moments with Wanda and everything, and it's cool and it's like but I was just a little I loved WandaVision so much, and I mean there was some shuffling with like release dates. Like I think this was originally supposed to come before WandaVision, and then between COVID and everything else, like things got rearranged. So it didn't quite feel like WandaVision is such a nuanced version of like what Wanda's going through and the wrongs that she's committed for sure. But you have such an insight into her grief and her loss and everything like that. And this just kind of goes she's just full villain. And it's cool. She's good at it, but I was just a little disappointed that like it took her in that direction when we had been on this whole journey through WandaVision and everything. So yeah, I think that it has its moments. I like the music note fight. I remember that being really cool. And
Yeah.
also like playing with the multiverse again. I kind of wish like it went a little harder at that. Like I remember there was some conversation of like they go to these different places and it's just like the traffic lights are different and the food's a little different. It's like why couldn't you go like really nuts with it? Something like I mean this isn't it the same year as Everything Everywhere All at Once? Like I think that
Yeah.
kind of was paled in comparison a little bit to like the risks and the creativity you can do with a multiverse story, even though this one like has it in the title. So like a little bit of a disappointment for me. Has its moments, has some highs, but yeah, I'm not gonna put in a bid for this one.
I don't like this movie at all, unfortunately. I'm so sorry to be the guy
Wow.
that's going to rain on everyone's parade. I completely agree with how it was cool to see Sam Raimi incorporate some of his horror style
You didn't
into the
like it at
movie.
all,
That's
Brian? Not at all. You didn't like it at all.
not really. There's not much I like about the
Wow.
movie,
Music notes.
unfortunately. And
Okay,
like
all right. Music notes.
I think that like I just expected to like it so much more because I was so excited, like Veronica said,
So
with
it's
the
because
idea
your
of
expectation was so high at the beginning.
my expectations were very high.
Okay.
Also, this was the first MCU movie to come out right after No Way Home, and I remember at the end of
What are they
No Way
gonna
Home,
do?
like in the after credits, they played like a teaser trailer for this, and I was like, "Oh, this looks so fucking sick!" I'm so
I remember
excited,
that.
and I loved WandaVision as well, so I was really excited to see what they were gonna do with that character. And she's great in the role. She's awesome. She's wonderful. That sequence where they're like under the tunnel or whatever, underground, and it felt like a scene from a horror movie. I was really impressed with that, but I hated that sequence with the multiverse where John Krasinski played me. I did not like that scene at all. It just felt like the most fan servicey
Really?
thing that I've ever seen in my life. Maybe
What's
I'm
wrong
just
with fan service? That's what
Coming
I'm
from
thinking.
the
What's
man that
wrong
has
with-
Avengers Endgame on his list.
yeah, but that did it better, in my opinion.
But like like people that are making this are
I didn't
fans and
buy
they're making
Jim
it for
Halpert as
fans.
Mr. Fantastic. I'm sorry, I didn't buy that casting at all.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
all right. Only because you can't get past Jim Halpert in your brain.
Hey,
You
no,
gotta
I
get past
can. He's
it.
great. He's great in A Quiet Place, but that's I just didn't buy him in that role. No, the thing is, there was a lot of really cool ideas. I just don't think that they were executed properly. I think the screenplay is really the biggest sin of this movie, but it is well directed to a degree. I do think that the performances are really good. What's her name? The girl who plays America Chavez. I think she's very delightful in this. What's her name?
Zoe
Shoshi
Gomez.
Gomez.
Talk about
My
talk
Dancing
about
with the
another
Stars
character.
winner.
Yeah, Dance with the Stars, Victor. She's great in this. Yeah, I don't know. This one just really didn't do anything for me. And in the moment when I watched it, I remember being a bit kinder to it. And then in the time since, I started liking it less. And maybe one day I'll get back to the point where I'm like, okay, maybe this is actually a pretty solid movie. But overall, just really was not a fan of this one. I'm so sorry.
Wow, guys, way to make my last pick a dud.
Well, less competition for you.
I mean, I
Boo.
guess. Boo, boo. Yeah, I guess I get it for $50.
There you go.
There are fans, though. There is a hive out there for this movie, though.
Dang, now I had other options, and now I'm like, maybe this would have been more interesting, but it is what it is.
Do you have to
It's how the
keep it?
draft
Do you have to
crumbles.
keep it? All right.
Yep. Your team is complete now, Sasha.
There we
So I have
go.
one pick. Brian, you still need 2 picks. So
Still need 2.
let's see if whatever I nominate, if you're gonna steal it from me or.
Well, I do
leave
have
it to
more
me.
money than you, so there is a
It's
possibility.
true. Yes. I guess I'll put the one that I want up because otherwise I'll have no control. So let's go with this is the MCU draft. I would like an Avengers movie on my team, so let's go with 2012's The Avengers. I'll
Classic.
throw that out for $10.
It's yours. I can't bid on it.
mine.
Ryan!
Oh right, you have an Avengers movie.
Oh.
I have an
yes.
Avengers movie already.
Oh yeah, that one's yours, and we're
Um,
both full, so that's
the-
yours.
Okay, I just want to say that this movie is fucking great. This movie was great when it came out,
Nailed it.
and I still think it's great to this day. First of all, fuck Joss Whedon. Truly, he's a pompous scumbag, and
Yeah.
he could rot in hell. But this movie is genuinely wonderful. And, again, like a lot of the movies that we talked about, humongous gamble. We had 5 movies until this point kind of setting up the Avengers. This was everything that this was leading up to. And I think that it did a wonderful job of, bringing them together, making them into a team. I think it introduced us to so many great characters as well. This was our introduction to Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. We had already been introduced to the Hulk at this point, but not Mark Ruffalo. And I think that was a fantastic decision to cast him in that role because
Absolutely.
not only is he great as the Hulk, he's a genuinely unbelievable Bruce Banner. Like, he's so perfect in this role. And then, of course, we get the introduction of Hawkeye. We have another movie where Loki is the villain. What more do you want? You get the Battle of New York. You get all these incredible set pieces, and it's so good. And I think that you can make an argument that, for me personally, besides, I would say, Guardians of the Galaxy, I think this might be my favorite comedic MCU movie. Like, besides Guardians, this is the most I've laughed during an MCU movie. There's
We
many
have a Hulk.
moments where they're like, oh, Loki is a bad guy, but he's also my brother. He killed 100 and something people. He's adopted.
Doth mother know you weareth her drapes?
The Shakespeare in the Park, there's only one God, ma'am. I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
I have an army. We have a Hulk.
Dude.
I love this
So, yeah.
movie.
So, yeah,
I
it's
watch
yours.
this movie at the start of every single summer. It's in my Letterboxd top 4. I love this movie. I was just playing to the people for this draft, and the only reason it didn't come up for
This
me,
movie is great.
like I have a
You were
poster
going
of
with
it
your
in
head,
another room
not
of
your
my
heart.
house. Yeah, no, because my heart would have been Avengers, Iron Man 3. Like, yeah, nobody was gonna vote for that version, but
Yep, I got it. My team is complete now.
Way to
So
go.
Brian, you have 2 uninterrupted picks.
dang.
Yeah, Brian.
Well,
I
did you
can
give
carry-
your stance on this movie, Veronica? Where
Oh,
you stand on it?
I love it. Yeah, I have not rewatched it in quite a while. I haven't revisited it, but yeah, it was such a huge thing when it was coming out, and the MCU was not like this gigantic thing that it had become by Infinity War and Endgame. So it was pretty novel that like we were mashing all these characters together, and that it so successfully pulled it off. And yeah, it's funny. It's the Battle of New York sequence and everything is just the image of them all standing in a circle, like iconic. You can't really recreate that once everyone saw it for the first time. I think that feeling was just like unmatched. So yeah, this was just so huge for what the MCU was and like movies at this time.
And
You were
and
gonna
what's
say something,
interesting about Veronica, your picks. I was just looking at your choices. They're all firsts. They're all introductions. You have Black Panther, Iron Man, Spider-Man. No, I guess No Way Home. Maybe that is. But then you have the first
That's a
Avengers.
conclusion.
Right. So, but you just have a
Yeah.
lot of like firsts on your list, which I think is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very strong list.
Yeah,
That
I was
list
just thinking
scares me,
that's a
Veronica.
powerhouse list. Yeah, it's a
It's a
really
nice,
is.
nice span of time too. Like
It's very
from
well rounded.
Thank you. Try it. All right,
All
Brian,
right,
what are you
Brian.
gonna go with for your last two?
And you have like you like have no opposition at this point.
I
Yeah, no
know.
restrictions here.
Yeah,
These
you can just split it
freebies.
down the middle, and yeah, you just pick two.
Okay.
Maybe we should
All
pitch. Maybe
right.
the idea is that like we pitch the next two, so that he has to decide between the two to say. No, go ahead. Sorry.
um. Next pick, I'm gonna put. I'll do Spider-Man: Far From Home. I would like a Spider-Man film on my team, and I would have really loved No Way Home. Homecoming would have been a good one too. This is to me the weakest of the trilogy, but I still think it is overall a very fun time. And of course, again, like with a lot of these movies, this was the first movie after Endgame, and everyone was like, "Well, what are they gonna do with this?" And I really have enjoyed that. We've talked about this movie before on the pod a few times. I really enjoyed that this movie, obviously it's supposed to be a Spider-Man movie, and it's again him still coming of age and everything, and going on this summer vacation trip to Europe and everything, him trying to profess his love for MJ, him doing stuff with Ned, but then all these shenanigans happen, and this is immediately after Endgame, so like, we jump ahead a few months, people are still getting recouped to getting back into life. And of course, we're also living in a world without Iron Man. And throughout the entirety of the movie, there's a lot riding on Peter's shoulders of him being, for Spider-Man to be looked at as the new Iron Man. But he has all this pressure that he doesn't want to do that because he knows that he's not going to live up to being like him. And I really love the quieter moments throughout this movie, like the sequence on the plane with him and Happy, where he talks about how much he misses Tony. And Happy says, I don't think Tony would have done what he did if he knew that you weren't going to be here. So I just love the more poignant, quieter moments throughout this movie. And I do love the action set pieces. I love the battle of wits between him and Mysterio. I think Jake Gyllenhaal is very good in that role. That's a very fun casting to cast someone like him as a Marvel villain. And the sequences where he like goes to his head and we get like an all black background, all the smoke coming in. I think that that's a very cool way of utilizing mind games inside someone in this form of filmmaking. And yeah, I just think there's a lot to love about the movie. I think the ending is obviously insane. We brought up before that No Way Home opens up immediately after this with Peter's identity as Spider-Man being revealed to the whole world. Yeah, I just think it's overall a really, really, really good film. And Jake Gyllenhaal screaming, "Fire all the drones now" on the bridge, all-timer line delivery. There's a reason why we love Jake Gyllenhaal, and that's one of the reasons why for me. So because nobody can bid on this film, I'll put $5 on it. So before I give my next pick and everything, I would love to hear where all of you stand on Far From Home.
I think it's slightly underrated. I think the Spider-Man trilogy is so strong that I think that people dismiss this movie, but I think so much of what makes Spider-Man so important in the MCU, especially post Endgame, is a movie like this where it's like, yeah, we can address that, like, he's Tony Jr. effectively, and that line about like Tony wouldn't have done what he did if we didn't have you also is very meta, because like, would Marvel have killed off Iron Man if they did not have Spider-Man in their pocket? I don't think so. So it's like, I think it's a pretty symbolic film for the MCU. And I just love it. Like, all those sequences with Mysterio are great, and anything Tom and Zendaya is like a history in the making thing. So
Yeah, it is my least favorite of the Spider-Man. I think that they're all very strong. I don't think there's a bad Spider-Man movie at all. I did not love that it was all fake and it was all drones. I wanted Mysterio to be real. And so I think that like if I say I don't like it, it's more just like how they structured the story, because I wouldn't have wanted it to be drones. So that part of it for me felt like a bait and switch. But aside from that, it was a fun ride. It was a great time. There's no complaints on how it was executed. That's just kind of where I would have wanted the story to go. But it was a wonderful, like, I thought it was a wonderful, almost like partnership between the two of them. And then that was the first, like, I thought it was weird watching it the first time. Like, why is Jake Gyllenhaal acting so odd? Why is he acting so freaking weird this whole time? Like he's sincere, but he's not. There's something else here, and then you realize, oh, because he's taking Peter for a ride, and I just thought that that was well done on his part, well done with the writing. I thought it was a really strong movie. Not my favorite of the Spider-Man, and I wanted Mysterio to be like real, like really magic and all that kind of stuff. But hey, you get what you get.
Co-sign that everything you all said. Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal especially. I mean, he's a top tier weirdo, so fun to let him do it in an MCU movie.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right, Brian, what's your last pick?
Final pick of my team and
one.
final pick of the entire draft.
There's still a lot to choose from.
It's gonna be the Marvels, guys. Watch, it's gonna throw us for a loop.
You know,
No. Incredible Hulk.
Incredible. Yeah, there we go. Brave
the
New World.
Marvels. I still haven't even watched the Marvels. That's
So I've been watching
I
it.
actually
that's
love
the
the
only
Marvels.
MCU movie I haven't seen.
I love the Marvels. I have a poster of it back there.
And it's weird too because I should watch it because Miss Marvel is a New Jersey
That's the thing.
person, so I feel like I have to watch it in honor of
It's
her.
right here in Jersey City. Yep.
It's excellent.
Right there in Jersey City in your backyard, Veronica. So let's see. Let's look at the franchises we've tackled. We've tackled Captain America, Deadpool, Shang-Chi, Thor, Guardians, Avengers, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Iron Man, and Doctor Strange.
Is there anything we're missing?
We are missing one
Yeah,
particular
some-
franchise. And I'm going
we
to
are.
put one of those films on the board.
Yeah, you are.
For $1, I brought up before of how much I love this man.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm putting Ant-Man on the board. I'm going to put it up for $1. I think Ant-Man is, pun intended, criminally underrated. Nobody talks about Ant-Man the way that they should. Now, I'm not saying it's like top tier MCU. I'm not saying it's one of the best of the entire franchise. But I really love the approach to the movie. It's a comedic heist movie. I was so sad when Edgar Wright, who was supposed to direct this, dropped out of the movie because I would have really loved to see his spin on a Marvel project and everything. And I know that there was a lot of tumultuous stuff going on behind the scenes, which made him leave the project. But I do think that Payne Reed, coming from Bring It On fame, did a pretty good job of directing this film. And Paul Rudd is one of my favorite castings in this entire franchise, superhero or villain. I think he's perfect as Scott Lang. The charm, the charisma, what we love so much about Paul Rudd is present in this performance. There's a lot of heart to him. He's a guy who, has done not so great things, and he recognizes that he's done not so good things, but he's also trying to be a better man. He's trying to be a better father to his daughter. I love the relationship between the two of them. And I really like the approach of him essentially taking the mantle of becoming the Ant-Man from Michael Douglas's Hank Pym. I think that this film has a lot more to offer that people don't give it credit for. Corey Stoll makes for a really great villain. I think Evangeline Lilly makes for a really fun co-partner. And then the dynamic between the fellow, I guess, thieves, if you want to call him that. Michael Pena, low-key scene stealer in this.
excellent.
Louise is just a wonderful comedic presence. And then who else is in that group? It's David Dalshmanian and T.I., I believe. So I really love the dynamic between all of them, and Louise explaining all of his stories and going on, and then like Michael Pena just like dubbing over the actors and then like lip syncing what he's saying makes for a really good gag and everything.
So good.
And then just that whole explanation, then it ends, and then David Dalsmasian is just like, old men have safe. Very simple. I just love that so much. Yeah, I think that this movie doesn't get as much attention as it deserves. I think it's quite good, to be honest. And then the Ant-Man movies that followed, unfortunately, didn't match up. Ant-Man and the Wasp is fine. It's okay. It has its moments. And then Quantumania, well, that's like low-tier MCU, in my opinion. That's like towards the bottom. It might be my least favorite thing that they've put out. But the first Ant-Man, I'm a big fan of. I'm a big champion of that film. And I wish that it got more notoriety. I wish more people talked about it. And again, who doesn't love Paul Rudd?
That's the sexiest man alive right there.
Yes, he is.
Every single year.
Every single year, it's always Paul Rudd.
Well, because he never ages, so
I mean, yeah.
just keep giving it to him.
Truthfully.
I think that's a solid pick. I think that is a it flies under a lot of people's radars, but it's very charming. I like the movies that
Flies on the
focus on
radar like Ant-Man does
He's
himself.
so
Yeah.
small.
exactly. I like the movies that deal with like small local issues. Like it's not mega universal. It's like, oh, this week this is what's happening in my neighborhood as this person.
Yeah.
Let me deal with that in a movie that is a little bit smaller. So I like that the Ant-Man, that the story is about him being a criminal, like having to do a heist, not really wanting to because it's really about him being a good dad. But what pulls him out of that, what tempts him is this other heist so that he can. Anyways, it's just a really good story. I think I love it. And who doesn't love Paul Rudd? I mean,
He's the man.
He really is. And little Cassie in
man.
this movie, his daughter, she's so weird
Played
and
by
so
Abby
sweet.
Ryder Forston, who was unbelievable in Are You There, God's Me, Margaret.
She's such a cutie.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched this in a while, but love Paul Rudd. I remember being excited that Bobby Cannavale was in it. I love him.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's not in it that much.
Mr.
but-
Rose Byrne, Veronica.
Oh yeah, who was who was at a reptile show in New Jersey while she was at the Golden Globes.
Oh, really?
Anyway, yeah, that's what she said in her Golden Globe speech, and I was like, New Jersey mentioned. Yeah, it's a very very solid movie. Judy Greer too in the ensemble. Him and Michael Douglas I think have a good dynamic and everything. Yeah, I haven't rewatched it in a while, but I definitely would. It's a pretty solid one.
Sweet. Well,
All right.
we
Think
did
we
it,
did it.
everybody. We completed our
Yeah.
draft. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say the films that we put on the board and how much money we spent on them. So, Steven, since you went first, what is your team and how much money did you spend on each of these films?
Yep. So top to bottom, I have Captain America: The Winter Soldier for $375. I have Deadpool and Wolverine for $125. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings at $220, and then Thor Ragnarok at a whopping $190.
And I have Guardians of the Galaxy for $390, Avengers Endgame for $445, Spider-Man Far From Home for $5, and Ant-Man for the very high price of $1.
It's tiny, like Ant-Man.
Exactly.
Yeah, how fitting.
I have.
I know, it's poetic.
You either had to go for really small or really big.
Yes.
There you go.
On my team, I have Black Panther for $325, Iron Man for $270, Spider-Man No Way Home for $281, and The Avengers for $10.
That's a crazy good list. That is a
I
good
know,
list.
that is a really crazy
I feel
good
good about
list.
it.
Oh,
And then on
Sasha.
mine, I have Avengers Infinity War for $501. I have Spider-Man Homecoming for $180. I have Captain America Civil War for $130. And Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness for $50.
That's so good. list.
Infinity War was the biggest ticket item there.
It really
Yep.
was.
Yeah, 501.
followed very
yeah.
closely by Avengers Endgame.
Yeah,
So the
fitting.
the two big ones, the two
two, yeah.
titans. Very, very
Tight.
fitting. Obviously there's a lot of films that we didn't mention today that didn't get mentioned on the board, but does anybody have any honorable mentions that they want to shout out? Sasha, let's go to you. Are there
Yes.
any films that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I love Age of Ultron. I know that's not as pop as can be seen here. I don't think that's the Avengers film that people reach for, but I love that film. I think the dynamics, especially in the ever-present AI world we live in, I feel like continues to be more and more relevant, and the concept of like, can you predict who is a threat to the world? Like, I love that movie on a fundamental level. Also the reveal of Hawkeye having a family, like mind-boggling, like just twist, like, and not in like a crazy set piece way. So I just love that.
These are
And then the one
smaller
I'm-
agents.
Yeah, these are smaller agents. Don't trust them. You also have Chris Evans ripping a log
That is a
apart.
hot
Like that
scene.
is
Oh my God.
very important to me personally. Also, again, your
Me
introduction
too.
Under Armour.
of Wanda.
I think Ultron is being reclaimed. Like, I think people are retroactively.
Yeah.
Some of the movies have like made people check out Ultron.
James
more,
Spader
so.
deserves so much better. He's one of our greatest
Oh.
actors of all time, and when you cast him as a villain, it's like, oh, that is awesome. And yeah,
Nobody
he's-
could have done it better than him. Nobody could
I
have done it better
completely
than
agree.
him.
Nobody
Age of
could have
Ultron,
done it like him.
That's a good one. I stand by how much fun that one is.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
would have been on my own personal list. And then the only other one I'm kind of mad that I picked up Multiverse of Madness over this one is Thunderbolts. Again, I didn't know if it was gonna fully count, but to me, Thunderbolts, and it's a movie where I went in with really, really high expectations, was the teeniest bit personally just slightly disappointed the first watch. The second watch, I was like, this is amazing. Like, it makes me feel the way that the first Avengers movie made me feel. The score, I could run through a brick wall, and I think everything that Lewis Pullman is doing in this film with
Yes.
evil Julia Louis-Dreyfus, like,
We love Bob.
it's so good. And you're pulling all of these fan favorite characters. So those are my two genuine honorable mentions. I'm honestly really pissed at myself I didn't go for Thunderbolts for the end, but
I'm with you on the
it is what it
Thunderbolts. I
is.
was going to say that was going to be mentioned for me, but
Yeah.
because of the unrelenting friendship part of it, it's like the
Yes.
ultimate win of the movie is they won from the power of friendship. They ultimately won from giving each other a hug. Now I know it wasn't exactly a hug,
Yes.
but like essentially a hug,
A
and you're
mental
there
hug.
for. And you're there for the people that are like depressed and going through it. And it's like the only way through that is with the people around you and the support that they give. And the way Elena, I mean, Flo is incredible.
Oof.
She
Miss
ripped my
Flo, we
heart
love her.
out. But like this is like an Avengers movie. This is Marvel. You're not supposed to feel what she makes you feel, you know? She brings like a different level of acting. I was gonna bring up Thunderbolts as well. That one was a solid movie. That and the Eternals. The Eternals, people shit on the Eternals, but that movie is sleek. That movie is fun, and I think it was done a disservice afterwards to never go back and really like give us more, because what we have, dude, it's so fun. I had it on just before this podcast. It's like it's a blast, dude.
I'm an Eternals hater, but
Really?
I am, but I recently, my husband forced me to rewatch it because he was like, you need to give this a chance. Because I watched it the one time and was like, no, I hate this. But I think, to your point, Steven, I think that movie is trying to do so much, and had you given a second movie or done it in a series form, I think it could have really sang for me. I just think for some reason I can appreciate so many elements of it, but then it constantly pisses me off every 15 minutes, and I'm just like, I can't
I think
do
that like
this.
I think there were so many. I mean, Angelina Jolie, like the guy from
That is
Game of
crazy.
Thrones. You know, like we got some major big names in here, and to give 12 characters their time on screen enough, I think was the misstep. If like maybe this movie shouldn't have been made for like what's around it, but for what it is and what was made, it is a blast. It's a fun time. So yeah, I like Eternals quite a bit.
Veronica, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, quickly, just Captain America: First Avenger, very very solid. Let's see, I like Guardians too. I like that one a lot. I'm a huge Michael Rooker fan. He's more featured in that. I love Kurt
He
Russell.
may be your father, but he ain't your daddy.
Ain't your daddy.
He's a
And not
great,
Mary
yeah,
Poppins,
Michael
y'all.
Rooker
That
does
was
really.
like,
He's great as Yondu. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, so good. I really like Black Widow. You know, we're talking about Yelena and everything like that. The main detraction with Black Widow is, number one, it should have come out like 5 to 10 years earlier. Like that should have been featured
Right,
before
right.
she was killed off. But and also that, like, I think Scarlett Johansson kind of gets like outperformed by like the introduction of the rest of her family, because they're all so great. With Florence Pugh and Rachel Weisz and David Harbour, like I think that they all make a really strong impression. And
Yes.
yeah, if I'm excited for anything with Doomsday, like it's to see Florence Pugh. She's like the person I
Yep.
probably care most about in the MCU now. So
I agree.
yeah, that would, and Thunderbolts also was really high on my list.
Yeah, Thunderbolts is definitely an honorable mention for me as well. I'll shout out the first Thor. I think that's another very underrated entry in the MCU. You know, kind of a fish out of water storyline with him going to Earth and everything. And then, even though I did put a film from this franchise on my team, I do want to give a special mention to Guardians 3, because Guardians 3 was a fucking emotional roller coaster. Oh my God. As a humongous
done.
animal lover, that was one of the hardest movies I've ever had to watch in my entire life. Everything with Rocket in that film was so beautifully handled. And, you know, I didn't think that I would say that Guardians 3 was the best Bradley Cooper movie of 2023, considering that he made a movie that he was not only in, but he directed as well with Maestro. I'm pro Maestro, by the way. I do like that movie, but I like Guardians 3 significantly more. And then Not a perfect movie in my opinion, but I will give a shout out to Wakanda Forever because of what they had to do after Chadwick's passing and everything. I do think that they did the best with what they were able to do, and I think the sequences where it wasn't focused so much on like tying everything together to other projects, I think that that's where the film really excelled, and it also led to Angela Bassett doing the thing and getting an Oscar nom for that performance, which I certainly
Yeah.
didn't expect when watching the movie. So, yeah, I would say those are my honorable mentions. And then, very briefly, I just want to ask around how excited are we for Spider-Man Brand New Day? Because that's our next MCU movie. It's coming out in just a couple of days. How are we feeling?
Yeah.
I'm very excited, personally, that we're
So-
getting another Spider-Man movie.
Stoked. Yeah, I can't wait.
Absolutely.
Super
would imagine.
excited. I'm keeping away from any advertisements as much as I can because I want to go in like with just a little bit of information that I have. I didn't even finish the last trailer that came out. I was like, I want to
Yeah.
go in so brand new, so I'm excited.
We're very close.
Summer of Tom and Zendaya and John Bernthal.
Truly.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'm
100%.
excited.
Yeah, can't wait to see how that plays out. But yeah, that's it, everyone. That's it.
We did it. That concludes our Marvel Cinematic Universe auction draft. We did it. So be sure to vote on our Twitter and Instagram.
And with that, that is a wrap on today's episode of Some Like It Real. Thank you all for joining us. If you're interested in following along our journey, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Brian Sutfield.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Vera Albarella and on Letterboxd at Alba_real_A.
And a massive thank you to Sasha and Steven for joining us today. This was such a blast. Sasha, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Sasha Raquel, also on Letterboxd at Sasha Raquel, and on Instagram at Sasha Raquel YT.
And Steven?
Yeah, you could just on Instagram, just the real Eastland. That's where you can find me.
Go give Sasha and Steven a follow. Links will be in the description. And you can follow the show on all socials at Some Like It Real, as well as on YouTube at Some Like It Real. Be sure to subscribe and share it around. And tune in every Monday and Thursday for a new episode of Some Like It Real on podcast platforms.
We'll see you next time.